All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully, guys are having a fantastic Saturday. Today, we're gonna be playing some more Fortnite. I'm joined here with Billiard. By the way, Boston, here, I'm gonna go ahead and put your link in the description.
Oh wow, thanks, bud.
Put your YouTube link in the description.
I'm gonna kiss you.
Because you do actually put some clips up there every now and then, right?
Sometimes.
I'm pretty sure you do. Do you have your Twitter? Do you have you have your YouTube and your Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Wake, G-Man, C, Pedro, Wanna Talk, Craze, Juan, Total, Benjamin, Stump, Ferrari, Astro, Jose, The Flash, Diana, Braden, Nick, Season, One Kid Gamer, Fortnite, Mitchell, Landon, Vanquish, Liam, Wolfgang, Victor, Nick, The Maniacs. Welcome to the stream, guys. Wow, that's a lot of people to go ahead and read right off the bat. But I appreciate all of you guys coming to the stream. Welcome. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic day. Let me go to Billiard's YouTube channel here. I'm going to copy your link, put it in the description. So go ahead and give you a little bit of a shout out. So then when you're out there making plays and you're getting like 17 kills a game, I can say like, hey, go check out Billiard. You know, his link's in the description. All right, Billiard's YouTube. Copy that and paste. All right, it's down there now. Sick. Those of you guys who are like literally already in here, yo, Mitch, I just saw you in the stream. Welcome. Appreciate it. You're an absolute legend. What's up, Harry, Crazy, Black, Early, Downbeat, and Joe's Most Bro. Aiden, welcome to the stream. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hot stuff. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you coming in. All right, let's go ahead and get the stream started. We're good. What's up, Max? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Eric? How you guys are doing today? I think is my bot not working? Not my bot, but my chat app. Let me go ahead and load this back up.
Your aimbot?
Yeah, my aimbot's broken, guys. My aimbot's broken. I'm gonna need that because my aim is trash without it. Hold on, guys. I gotta get a tissue real quick while Fortnite loads up. All right, ladies and gents, we're back. Sorry about that. We're here. What's up, Johnny Phillips? How you doing today, man? I just had to blow my nose. But you guys should still be able to see Fortnite now. Let me go ahead and give Billiard an invite here.
I'm already
We're going to do duos, and let's get it started. Level 47. I really want to hit level 50. Like, that's kind of like the level that I want to hit right now really, really badly.
How close are you to 48?
I'm 2777 out of 3900.
Oh, well.
How close are you? Are you pretty close?
No.
Oh, no. Yo, what's good, Owen? How you doing today, man? Welcome to the stream. Yo, Son, you came in with the 2-month sponsor. I appreciate that, man. Son, I don't know if you're in the stream yet, but I appreciate it. What's up, Violet Ninja? Osmail. Hey, bro, you're awesome, and you helped me help my girlfriend through some stuff. Hey, TGF, that's awesome, bro. Happy to hear stuff like that, man.
Wait, does it pop up how many months you've been subbed?
It does, actually. Hennis, I want your children. Yo, Mitch, I will gladly have your children. Yeah, it does. So I didn't think that it did, but if you have it like if you have it on automatic renewal, it doesn't pop up in the YouTube chat, but I see it on my Streamlabs like alert box here. It's like a special thing that like shows me all the alerts, like every super chat, donation, subscriber, all that. It all comes through this one feed, and it says Sun has sponsored you for 2 months. So
mine should have went through then.
Yeah, I just don't know what cycle you're on. Yo, Dylan.
I'm sorry, mine just renewed today.
You want your kids to have a fire jawline? Yeah, that's Mitch. You do have a fire jawline, brother. I'm not gonna lie. You do have a pretty fire jawline. What's up, Godslayer? What's up, Eduardo? But yo, Dylan, thank you very much for the $1 super chat or the £1 super chat. I appreciate that, my man. Welcome to the stream.
Where we going?
There's a hair in my mouth. I don't know. Where do you want to go?
I don't know. Where do you want to go?
You pick. I'm giving you permission.
You know what?
What?
I'm out of town now.
Let's get it. Jumping out a little bit late. Hopefully it won't be too bad. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Appreciate all of you guys coming through. If you guys haven't dropped a like in the stream yet, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you drop a like. I think there's a couple more people landing down here. Now, I haven't, unfortunately, played anything today yet. So, I don't know how good / bad / terrible / godlike my aim is going to be. But I guess we'll figure that out. Just grab this shotgun off the bat.
I got a shotgun too.
Where'd this guy just go? Oh, there's a lot of people, dude.
Yeah, we're fine. We got guns though.
What? Okay. Yo, okay, that was kind of embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know.
We got it. I killed him on mine.
Those last shots were. Okay, yeah, there's still a couple more people in here though. I killed two.
I was a guy in the back of this tomato. The sniper. Where? Okay, wow, you're bad.
Hold on. There was just something else out here, wasn't there?
Someone's sniping at the what's it called? Overpass, I think.
Oh, near the tunnel?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see them up top anywhere. Was there nobody else in there?
No, there's someone else. Except this guy in the tunnel. No, I'm chasing.
Okay, I don't see him in there. I'm gonna go check the house over here real quick. What's up, Rise? How you doing today, my man? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I see somebody. There is somebody over here. I can't help you out right now. Yo, the gamer.
Caught both.
Rushing up on this guy.
Hennis, do
I need to use my kit before I do anything.
You already know, boy.
Please don't die.
Got him.
Good.
Oh, shoot. His teammate's out front. His teammate's out front.
I can't help.
It's okay. It's okay.
Every minute I'm on my way though.
Hit him once. I'm gonna try to go up front. Hey, nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. What's up, Joshua? What's up, Deadly? Welcome to the stream.
How many kills do you have?
3.
Okay, I have 6, so we have 9 already.
Jesus Christ, bro. Okay. Yeah, I need that burst assault rifle. Okay, good.
That's fine.
Alright, not too bad. What's up, Beastly? How you doing today, bro? That was weird. Okay. Alright, sick. Alright, where do you want to push? Actually, let me heal up real quick. Just get that extra 2 health. I wish I could stay, but I will leave the stream on for that watch time. Yo, Wake, I appreciate that, brother. You see, Wake, you know what's up. What's up, Ashton? But yo, the gamer comes in with a $20 donation right off the bat. Says, Hennis, do I even have to say anything? You already know, boy. Dude, there were 2 chests in here?
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh. Did you get both of them, or did the other guy get them?
That was the 2 people that I killed.
I'm gonna come up here with you. I think you're... Oh, bless me.
Yeah,
what's up, Charles? How you doing today, man? But yo, guys, can we get the gamer spam in the chat? I would seriously appreciate it. Dude, you're a freaking monster, man. Like, seriously, dude. Thank you very much for that generous donation. I really, really do appreciate it. Those of you guys who are watching on the Twitch stream, drop a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, you already know what to do. Drop a like and drop a sub. I took off the live like count off the stream. I don't know. I felt like it was taking up more space than I wanted to, especially with Fortnite. This game doesn't really offer a whole lot of corners to put stuff that where it doesn't take up room. Or doesn't block a whole lot of stuff, so I figured I'd just go ahead and take it off for right now. Just because I know you guys were complaining yesterday that you guys couldn't see the kill feed or whatever, and I think it's kind of nice to be able to see that.
240, 240.
Okay. How far out? Yeah, I see him. I think that, yeah, they've stopped. They see you, or they see me. Wait for him to push up a little bit. Because they're...
Got one.
Oh, nice. Okay, they're building. Push up, push up, push up.
Yep.
That nade didn't reach. Oh, a little bit high. Oh, I think that next one's gonna get him.
That one should.
Nice.
Got him.
Nice. Pick up that
Hey
blue
guys,
AR.
hope you're having a fabulous day.
That one. Haha.
I'll take the sniper. Hey, alright, nice. Yo, who just donated? Yo, Lucas, thank you very much for the dono, my man. I do appreciate that, brother. Hold on, let me organize my stuff here.
How much shotgun ammo do you have?
38.
Can I have like 12 or something?
Yeah, I'll just give you half. Just give you half.
And sniper ammo?
Yeah, I got 25.
I only have 4, so.
I'll give you half of that.
Thank
Cool.
you.
What's up, Jack Starling? Oh, yeah, I see him. My sniper's in the wrong location on my inventory, and I wasn't using it. Hold on, just kind of chill there for a little bit.
Yep. Got one. This is 2 different teams. Oh wait, there's more southeast.
I'm going up on the roof.
Hit him once.
Where? What direction? What direction?
Southeast. Tree.
Oh, they're at a tree?
Yeah.
Oh, one of the close ones? One of these 3? Right here? Oh, they just shot at me. Shoot.
What do you? Oh, okay, you're there.
Got him.
Give me a minute.
There's gonna be another one. I want to push up to this rock right here. He's going to revive his teammate behind the tree.
I hit him.
I was gonna say you can't really build there. I think they're reviving.
I'm dead.
Yep, it's all good. It's all good. How many over there?
One, I think. Maybe two. The other guy's healing, maybe.
Yeah, he's reviving him, I think.
People behind him. What?
I don't know what to do right now. Yeah, just try to crawl more towards me.
Back up.
What?
We had 8 kills.
How many nades did they have? I didn't have any nades.
He was picking up his teammate.
Yeah. What's up, Dylan? How you today? Yo, Shorty Gamers, welcome to the stream. Damn, that wasn't a bad run. But yo, Jude, thank you very much for the $2. I don't know if I privately acknowledged that. Obviously, Jude, thank you very much for the support. I do appreciate it. Not a bad start. Good SNIPED. Dang, yo, thank you, MDub. Thank you. I'm telling you, we just come out here, we quick scope, we no scope. Actually, I don't think I've ever gotten a no scope shot in this game. I really want to though. Are you streaming on Twitch? If you are, my name is Pablo DeBoy. Yo, Pablo, let me go ahead and look through the chat here, man. See if I can find you. Miner, what's up? Welcome to the stream as well. What's up, King? Pablo, what's up? Kev Moore, what's up? Deadly. Yo, Geckos, bro. TGF. Colette, what's up? Slow Mo God. What's up, Jonathan and Peter? Welcome to the stream, guys. What's up, Matthew? But Yeet. I think I need to decrease the size of my face cam. I think my face cam might be a little big. I'm not a booby streamer, so it should probably be a little bit smaller. What's up, Camo2K? You're awesome. Yo, thank you, Dylan. I haven't talked to you in forever, Dismo, dude. It's been nice, hasn't it?
Wait, what?
Wait, what? What's up, Dang? What's up, Gamer? No, Dismo, for real, dude. We haven't chilled in a little while. That is true. This is true, Dismo. If you're gonna be on Discord tonight, brother, I'll be sure to come say hello to you. What's up, Adam?
Wait,
you can remove the map. You can remove the map? What do you mean? Dismo said WTF. That was rude. Nah. What's up, Griffin? Welcome to the stream. Where do you want to go? Anarchy X?
Yeah.
It's Getty, baby. Let's both go to the house.
Okay.
What's up, Creighton? What's up, Joshua? It's Rise and Ethan, Aspis, Tastiest Path, Bass, Fish, Alec Camp. Alec Camp, I'll give you enough recognition, man. I carried Mitch in duos. I had 11 kills. He had 1. Damn. Yeah, that's the definition of getting carried right there.
I carried Ocean and I had 18 kills. They had none.
He had none?
None of them did. I had all the kills.
Yo, Pablo DeBoy, what's up, man? Yo, if you guys are watching over my YouTube right now, you
kill.
haven't gone and followed my Twitch. My Twitch there's a link to it in the cards. There's also a link in the description, twitch.tv/proHype. Make sure you go show it some love. I would appreciate it.
I did steal a lot of kills though.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's what Ocean was telling me. He was like, you put shots into like everybody, and then you just kind of came in and did the cleanup work.
Yeah, but yeah.
Alright, well, I got ammo. Did you get anything good?
Yeah, I got 2 ARs.
Okay, because there's somebody here. I need to come and get one. He shot me. He shot me. He's right below me. Right below me. I'm in the bathroom.
Oh.
He's coming through. He's coming through. He's coming through. He's gonna kill me. I think you took the long way around.
You have any nades? Don't.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Rip. How much wood do you have?
I had enough to kill myself.
What's up, Waden? What's up, Hayden? What's up, Dylan? Wow, that actually kills you?
I
didn't think that height would be high enough. Damn.
No,
What's up, Dylan DeBeast? Yo, that's a true duo move right there.
This isn't H1, bro.
What are you playing this on? We're playing this on the PC, man. What's up, bro? What's up, man? At top right, you can get rid of the minimap. It's pointless anyways, and you can still check the big map.
Wait, you can?
You can get rid of the minimap? Wait, how do you get rid of it? Game. Toggle targeting? No. Reset building choice. Invert view toggles. Party failed to connect.
Well.
Are you still on the main menu?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Go to video and press R2. I'm on the PC. I don't know how. Party failed to connect. What the hell?
Huh.
I'll try to restart my game.
R.
What's up, Eduardo? What's up, Jack? Welcome to the stream.
What would R2 be though?
I don't know. I actually have no idea.
I'm gonna turn off all like.
You got me last round, Nicholas. Were you in that game, bro? Yeah, I'm sorry if I killed you, man. Trust me, it's nothing personal, bro. Nothing personal. Olive, how's it going? Yo, it's going pretty good. Exalt Clutch. How you doing today, man? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Nathan? What's up, Mill and Chaz? Do you recognize me from the other streams? Yes, Pablo, I do, man. Do 50v50? Here's the thing. So 50v50, obviously that was a hype game mode when it first got released. But now that I've played it a little bit, I don't know. For me, what I really don't like about it is the simple fact that like it's pretty slow paced. It's slow paced. There's not really a whole lot of action necessarily. I kind of wish they constructed it and sort of forced the gameplay to go a little bit differently, sort of more so how they had it advertised in their like release video that they put on their YouTube channel, that they put says you're not on. Did you restart too?
No, but we'll be fine. Try it. We'll try it.
That they had in their full video where, so like, what if you had like 5 minutes or so to like, everybody had unlimited amounts of supplies, or you were just given time to like farm supplies, and then each team would have sort of this grace period to build like these giant bases, and then it sort of went head to head in this giant 50v50, like in close quarters. Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Can you join up or no?
I'm gonna have to restart this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey bro, I'm gonna try to fit this in lol, but you're someone
wow,
who
client
help
quote
my
unquote
GF
crashed.
really hard
Yeah,
time
good one.
BCS. She had a 50-50 shot at living and it was hard to keep positive, so THX bro, just FKN love you BCS. I was so afraid that I was gonna lose her, bro.
Yo, total focus. Thank you very much for the $1.11, man. I'm not sure if I entirely follow what you said. I might just have to reread your donation here. Give me a second. So okay, man. So if I read your donation correctly, I think everything turned out all right. I think that's kind of what I get from your message. Thank you very much for the $1.11. You know, that's definitely something really hard to go through. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. If everything turned out fine, then I'm glad it worked out that way. I hope everything's all right, man. And
no,
if not, what?
It won't let me join.
All right, let me try to join you.
Oh.
Well, let me try to invite you.
Yeah.
And if everything didn't work all right, man, you know, I wish you and your family and her family all the best love and support, man. What's up, Nathan? Every time I play Fortnite, my team doesn't speak English USA. Your team doesn't speak USA? Is that what you just said? Let me try to join up on you.
Does it like show that you're just online? Like under your name?
Yeah, it says I'm online.
Yeah, but like
it says you're online, yeah. It says you're playing Fortnite Battle Royale.
It shouldn't like, it should just say like you're in the main menu or something.
What's up, Teresa? Alright, the party's currently not responding to join request. Please try again later. Let's both try to restart again.
Yeah, I'm gonna restart Epic Games.
Yeah, restart the whole launcher too. What's up, Jared?
Yeah.
What's up, Mill? What's up, Heavy? What's up, Remix? Well, I watch your YouTube video. Godslayer. Depends, man. Are you gonna tweet me your YouTube video? I'll switch over to the screen for right now. You're max level on Fortnite, Garrett? Yeah, I haven't played it that much yet. I want to, though. I really want to get to max level. Just to say that I'm max level at this game. That's really all I want to do. What's up, Project? I was thinking about making a YouTube channel. Do you recommend doing it? Project Nemesis, absolutely, bro. If it's something that you've like been debating, trying to do for a while, you want to give it a shot, there's literally no harm in trying. The barrier to entry is pretty much free. You don't need to buy anything necessarily. If you've got a gaming computer or even a PS4 or any sort of console, you can start streaming, start making videos literally immediately to a YouTube channel. Give it a shot, see how it works. You may be surprised with how much you like it and how much the community is, you know, willing to accept a lot of new people. There's a huge market out there for people who want to watch other people play video games, surprisingly enough, and it's pretty cool stuff. So I would definitely recommend it, man. If you want to give it a shot, I would highly recommend it. All right, let me try to invite you. Please have you join. Please, please, please.
So just logging in, verifying UEULA.
Oh, you're still logging in?
Yeah, should be. Okay, there.
What's up, Zachary? What's up, Lance?
Okay. Now invite me.
Do you not see it underneath your invitations?
There is no invitations.
When you go to your friends list up at the top, there's no invitations tab?
Nope. Here, I'll invite you. Anything?
No.
Nice. We broke it.
What's going on? I'm trying to join you. What's up, Joshua? How you doing today, man? What's up, Manny? What's up, Sahil? Go to yo, M'd up. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you trying to tell me where to go get the mini map, but like, show the messages. I don't see. There's just nothing here. There's nothing here. The party is currently not responding to join requests.
Wait. Okay. Okay. So you see like the plus signs next to your character?
The plus sign?
Yeah. Okay, so you see your character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the bottom, like the things you're standing on, there's like
the
three
plus
other...
signs. Yeah.
Yes. Go there. Go to party invites. Is there anything there?
No.
Okay. Well, something's wrong then. Nice.
What's up, Grizzly?
Invite.
Try to join now. Try to join me right now.
Oh. And
Tennis, the servers are on PC and PS4 are slow because everybody's logging on. Is that really what's happening? Let me try to go to Fortnite's Twitter real quick.
Yeah.
Tennis, I'm back. What's up, Frosty McFrost? How you doing today, buddy? What's up, Jared? Do better, please. You did terrible. No offense. Gotta love the trolls, man. Fortnite. Oh yeah, we're looks like we're seeing problems with players being able to connect to games and friends. We're looking into this. You can keep up to date with more details and updates here. That was 4 hours ago.
How did we join earlier?
I don't know. They said we've been having intermittent problems all day and had previously thought they were solved, making sure we communicate everything clearly with you all.
Damn.
And they said we're working on it.
Huh.
Hi, I'm sick as heck. It's also snowing.
Yeah, the last. It is, man. Hold on. Give me a quick second here, Pro Chris. Yeah. So and the last time they updated this was at 7 o'clock today.
Which was an hour ago.
Which was roughly an hour ago. Yeah.
Good stream night.
We'll try restarting one more time. If that doesn't work, then I guess I'll just go ahead and do solos.
Okay, that's fine.
What's up, Jared Brewer? Yo, Pro Chris comes in with a $10 super chat. Says, "Hi, I'm sick as heck. Also, it's snowing. It is snowing, man. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty hyped when I woke up today and I saw snow on the ground too. Or at least it's starting to snow. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. But Pro Chris, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. You are an absolute god. Hopefully you feel better soon, man. I have been blessed. I haven't been sick yet this year. And hopefully I can carry that deep into 2018 as well. But I appreciate your 10, man. Let's get a Chris spam in the chat. I would appreciate it. What's up, Tyler? How do you donate? If you want to donate, guys, there's a link in the description down below. And there's also a link. You can also donate via super chat. And there's if you press the little money symbol right below the chat on YouTube. But exclamation point donate in the chat will give you guys the link to donate to the stream. What's up, Radic? What's up, Tyler?
I'm verifying whatever. Game cache.
Yeah, it sounds like it's more of a server side issue, but
that's true.
You can give it a shot. How long is that going to take?
I don't know. That's at 33%.
When did you start it?
Like a minute ago.
Alright, let me know what's done then. What's up, Pluto?
Okay.
Do custom zombies, please? Yo. Nah.
Yo, that's it. 50%.
But I really should do some custom zombies soon, man. I really should, because I know a lot of you guys are still so much in love with the custom zombie streams, and like, I haven't brought you guys any custom zombie streams in so long, and I feel bad about that. I genuinely do. I need to do that. But I gotta go keep up the stream. Yo, thank you very much, Garrett. Keith, I appreciate you coming by, man. Hopefully you have a good one. Why is Hennis ignoring me? Yo, Exalt Clutch, I'm ignoring you, brother. I'm just gonna be flat out honest with you. I'm ignoring you. I'm just kidding. I don't ignore anybody in the chat, guys. Please. Please believe me. Unless you're like spamming or just repeating the same thing over and over again, then I just kind of get pissed that you're spamming the same thing over and over again. I'll donate 500 bucks if you read this. Do a gaming setup tour. Keep up the streams. I'm the Wildest Pig's second account. Remember me? The Wildest Pig's second account. I don't know if I do, man. Play that survival mode on Fortnite with zombies? Oh god, isn't that trash? Actually, I don't even know if it's bad or not. I just know that not a lot of people play it. More people are like more so obsessed with this whole battle royale. Yeah, what are you at right now for percentage?
98.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and add up and see how many kills I got. Because I'm kind of tempted. I really want to like get to the point where I can put like 1,000+ kills in my title.
Oh,
I can't.
God.
I can't do that yet. just as something to be able to add. I feel like that add like right. I mean, do you know how many kills you have? Like in total across solos, duos, and squads?
No, not offhand.
All right, 927 kills I have in total. So that means what have I got? 63 more to go. 63 more kills? No, 73. Yeah, 73. So Christopher, what's up, Bad? Do it. What's up, Alfie?
Logging in.
Just only a couple more games. What's up, Yoshi? How you doing today, man? We're just waiting for Billiard to hop on right now, guys. No, it's not. It's not trash, really. We might have to give it a shot then.
Free? No, it's not. Okay.
Yeah, it's not free. You gotta pay like 40 bucks for it or something.
It says playing Fortnite Battle Royale, so that's a new thing.
Yeah, yours says playing Fortnite Battle Royale too. Last time it just said online.
Yeah.
I invited you. Did you see the invite?
No.
Hold on, you tried inviting me. Did you try joining me too?
Yeah. I invited you?
Are you copying Typical Gamer? What do you mean?
Wait, invitation.
You see it?
See it now.
Oh yeah, hold on, I see yours now too. Yours just popped up. Are you joining mine?
Yep, and.
Okay. Whew. Ready up.
Okay.
Ah!
Okay,
thank God, we did it.
Oh, I have over 1,000 kills in solos.
Wait, you do just in solos?
Yeah, just in solos.
Oh damn, how many do you have in duos and squads?
Duos, I have 261. Squads, 627.
Jesus, you played a lot more of this than me then.
Squads, 26 hours, 46 minutes. Duos, 8 hours, 2 minutes. And solos, 42 hours, 13 minutes.
Solos 42 hours?
42 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've only got like 20 hours or 21 hours or something like that. Okay.
Jeez.
I like how people say I'll donate 500 bucks if you read this, and you read it and they don't donate. Yeah, I know. You know, the way I kind of look at it is, you know, one of those times I'm actually going to read one and someone's going to donate. It takes absolutely nothing for me to say it, you know? But I totally get what you're saying. It is kind of weird. Dakota's commented on your video, Crackster. Yo, that's litty, bro. That's litty. Guys, we are currently 53 subscribers away from hitting 225K. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure you do that. I'd appreciate it. Where do you want to go? Pleasant Park?
Yeah.
What?
Pokemon was singing a song, right? And it had the one word. It wasn't the, you know, full-on bad word, but the
Oh my.
A. But she mouthed it. She mouthed it.
Ooh.
And she was like, oh, sorry. She's like, you know when the beat goes hard and you just want to sing.
Alright, stick to the left side. Left side of these houses.
Yep.
Are you on the other side of the mountain? Or are you just behind me? No, you're just behind me.
Oh my god.
Is there a lot of people going here?
No, I just went to the wrong place.
Wait, what do you mean?
I went to Gracie Grove.
Oh no!
We will survive, don't worry.
You sure?
Yes. Just run to each other, meet halfway.
We need to get a weapon.
Okay, yeah, get a weapon, and then run. Maybe I won't survive. Come on, I just... Don't worry, I got nades. That's my bad.
Wow! You had one job. What's up, Jay
Yeah.
Frost? What's up, everyone?
Well, at least my job isn't streaming. Hey!
Except you don't do that either.
Hey!
R.I.P. in pieces. Alright, hopefully we don't get
Hit
lag
before
out this
broke
time.
after that.
Yeah, and before we can't play anymore. I need to search 5 chests today. That's my daily challenge.
My daily challenge was to hit 10
It
kills.
says waiting for... Oh, thank God. I thought we were going to be able to join in. What's up, Zen? What's up, Brogan? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Christopher? His eyes are so damn big. Yeah, you're damn right. They're so damn big. Like a freaking eagle.
Caw.
Caw. I took a shower earlier and my hair's getting a little bit long, so it's like curly in the front. I'm not digging it.
You're not
How has he
digging?
not realized his best mod is back? Wake, I saw you, dude. I saw you. I read your message.
I am the best mod is right here.
I like how you communicate with your stream like other people. You deserve more subs. Thank you, Pluto. Yeah, that's true. Billiard, you are my best mod. 100%. Billiard's an OG. Known Billiard for years. I knew Billiard before he was born.
Huh?
I like rubbed his mom's belly and was like, "Hi, Billiard. I see you in there. We're gonna be best friends. Let's go to Fatal Fields." It's kind of creepy.
Wait,
What?
Wait, what?
What? What?
Where are we going?
Fatal Fields.
Oh, okay.
Go for the house.
How did you...
What's up, Ray? Yes, boys. Yes. Next stream, do BO3 custom zombies, dude. So many people
Sup,
have it.
bro, can you give me a shout out?
you were
and
like 3 years
subscribe to
old?
my channel right
Yo,
now?
1K Green Water. Thank you very much for the $5 donation. Sup, bro? Can you give me a shout out and subscribe to my channel? Yo, shout out to my man 1K Green Water. Shout out to him. I appreciate it, man. All right, I'm landing in this little foresty area because I did not judge well. Good news is there's a chest right here, and
You not judge? Okay.
so I have a green AR. I'm coming to the house. I'm right here.
Knock on the door first. Make sure
Okay.
everyone's home.
Knock, knock. Anybody here?
I'm here. You can't come in.
Are you naked?
No, I just don't want you to come in. Okay, you can come in now.
Okay, I'm in.
Wow. Wait, where did you come from?
Bottom floor. Did you hear that
Oh.
door open, or is that you?
No, that was me.
I want to look at that. What's up, Jason Douglas? How you doing today, bud? Hold on, I just heard. Hold on, no, stop. Why'd you do that? I can't hear anything now.
What do you mean? I'm done.
I thought I heard a shotty.
Oh, it was probably me because I have a shoddy.
Oh, hopefully that was you then.
Oh, I see someone.
What direction?
Doesn't even matter. I hit every single shot. You hear me? I hit every single shot.
It's almost like that's what happens when there's no bloom.
Right? Honestly. Yeah, crawl to your teammate.
I just heard it pump over here, or unless that was you.
It was me. It was me.
I thought. Wow. Got team.
I bet you didn't see that one coming.
Let me pick up that shotty.
I guess you can
Well,
say
they didn't check in here. Hey. Let's get it. Give me something good.
Also,
Nothing.
you will be the best YouTubes. I believe in you.
What? Yo, 1K Green Water. Also, you will be the best YouTubes. I believe in you. What does it mean to be the best YouTubes, bro? I don't know, but it sounds pretty freaking sweet. Thank you, man. Hold on. I see somebody over here to the... Pretty sure I saw somebody over here. To the 15. Are you near me? You are not.
No.
Okay. Let me kind
I'm
of
on my way.
chill behind this tree then. I'm fairly certain I saw somebody jumping. Yep, I see them now.
Where?
I think they're a solo. They're going into the cave over here. You know, that sort of... Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he sees me.
Oh, I see him.
Hold on, I'm going to the right side.
Bottom.
His teammates.
Yeah. Back up. Back up.
I don't know why I can't hit him, bro. Bruh.
Back up.
What's up, Ray? How you doing today, man?
Back up. Okay. Wow, you're gonna... Wow.
Wow.
You're really out here, aren't you?
Did I do that?
You're really out here, aren't you? And now that's not faster.
Okay, cool. What's up, Ray Stewart? How you doing today, dude?
You are really out here.
What happened? What did I do?
You stole that sniper.
Stole what?
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah. I know.
What's
I
up, Jonathan?
remember. It's
Best
just, I don't want to
YouTube
say
bar,
it.
and when you die, subscribe to me.
Yo, 1K Greenwater, I appreciate the $2 donation, man. I usually only subscribe to people, man, who actually purchase the subscribe option from the loyalty shop. I don't know, man. There's something about you, though. Something about you that I like. What's up, Manny?
Face.
I think I like you, man. I think I have a crush on you, dude. But yo, thank you very much for the donos, man. I don't know, dude. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Just because I get a lot of people to ask me to subscribe to them, so I literally obviously can't subscribe to everybody, or else my subscription feed would be kind of destroyed. But yeah.
You're telling me there's a chance.
So there's definitely a chance, my man. There's definitely a chance. You actually want to push over? Let's push over more right side.
Why,
Like
there's a building over here, bro.
Well, because
Like,
these
someone
two
had to build.
but these two buildings over here have chests.
Well,
Remember?
you have a chest, and you know what's inside
Yeah.
your chest?
A heart. Oh my
A
god.
heart.
About now.
Okay, 1K Greenwater drops a $10 donation. Oh, we're heading in the right direction, bro. That's for sure. No, I'm just messing with you, dude. See, I feel so weird making this stuff pay to get, because I know, like, what's up, Sully? How you doing today, man? Because I know, like, there's other people that just, like, want to sit and grind for the coins to get me to subscribe to them. And if I tell people that it's a pay to subscribe, then I don't have a benchmark. I don't know exactly how much it's going to be either. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll tell you what, dude. You know what? Sure. I'll subscribe to you. I will make an exception for you because you have been very generous.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm coming. Where? What direction?
Like Salty Springs. Northwest.
Oh, is there a chest up here?
Oh my.
I'm sorry. You gotta give me a second.
ADHD.
Okay, I'm coming.
I
Hold up. What's up, the Lenny face? How you doing today, man?
don't have an angle to this window, bro.
Are they inside?
Yep.
That's you shooting at him? Okay, you fell. Okay.
That was.
Don't die. This isn't good.
Plus.
Ooh wee. What do they have up here? Ooh, a granada launcher. I'll pick that up because I'm a full sender, boys.
Are you gonna flip and send it?
We're gonna flip and send it, dude. The neighbors hate us, but we're still gonna flip and send it.
I'm still gonna flip and send it.
I've only got 1 kill right now. I feel like I'm slightly inadequate.
Well.
How many kills do you have? Do I even want to know? Yeah, you have 4.
4.
All right. What's up, Jason? I had to grind the coins, but I never had money, so it's a win-win. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, 1K Greenwater. I got you, bro. I got you. What's up, Ivan Hernandez? I'm just gonna have to scroll back through and, like, actually subscribe to your channel. Wish I had a bolt action.
Oh, I do.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. We're still gonna send it.
I'm gonna flip it.
Where's this drop? I think this drop sounded close.
It's like. I'll give it away. Southwest. And it's actually pretty close.
No, I don't want to. You
Nope.
don't want to go all the way over there, do you?
Nope, going.
You are going?
Going.
But billiard?
I'm sending it.
Wait, how do you use this?
What?
This jump pad.
The launch pad?
Yeah, how do I go and, like...
You gotta put down a F2, like,
If
thing.
you have a
Okay.
Xbox, play
Whatever.
Fortnite
I already
with
don't
me.
care.
Gamer tag,
Oh, wow.
Coolboy
Okay, then drop it.
244.
Like,
No, I didn't drop it. It was just sitting there.
oh.
I didn't even... By the way, that was a joke. Don't think I'm being serious. Hold on. I see.
60.
I saw someone... I saw... Yeah, 75. There... Can't tell if he's inside the house or what he's doing. I'm back at a... I'm kind of far back at a shed here, so just... I'm not, like, right up with you.
Oh no, I need to back up.
Okay, hold on. I'm pushing up. I'm pushing.
Yep. I'm pushing back to you. Just so I don't get screwed.
Yeah, kind of back, because I got... where were they shooting from? I don't even... Oh, they're shooting up from down there. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm moving over to this rock.
Huh? Where are you?
Okay, I see I see two of them over by the tree. I think they're running away. Yeah, they're running away. I think. I'm pushing up over to a rock over here.
Okay.
Are they still behind the tree over there? Or is that them building?
Oh.
I think that's them building. Did
On
they
top
shoot?
of yeah, they're shooting. That's at the building. At the building.
Okay, well, they know I'm here now. Just build right here. Yep. Frick me, dude.
Look where I am.
Hit him once. They're both over that platform. Got him. Knocked one down. I'm pushing up, push up, push up, push up. Do you have a shot on? He's so weak in there. Hold on. Nice.
Got him.
Good stuff.
Did you see where I was?
Yeah, I saw you up there. Ooh.
Better be. Oh, okay.
Sheesh.
I want that. Yeah.
I want that bolt action. Nice. That was sweet. Yo, you should have seen that sniper shot. That was awesome. You make me so wet. What's up, Yoshi? How you doing, man? You make me wet, Yoshi.
Wait, what?
What?
PG-13 here.
What? What'd you just drop?
Oh,
that's your drop.
yeah.
Alright, we gotta head to the safe zone. What's up? You're the best. How you doing today, man? If you guys are enjoying the stream, definitely make sure you drop a like. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on them post notifications.
Is there anything in there?
Anything aware?
Oh, it's fine. In that place that you were just in.
No.
Oh. Okay. There's loot over here, so isn't.
I wish I had a potion.
I did too. We haven't got a single potion in this game. At least I haven't.
I know, right? No, I haven't either. Actually, maybe I did. Maybe I had one at the beginning, or I don't know if that might have been at the beginning of the last game. Was that you shot? Where? What direction?
Yeah.
The new
No, I
update
just-
has bugs.
first
My
shot.
friend can't
First shot.
join.
Hennis, the new update has bugs. My friend can't join. Yeah, I don't know what it is, Tech Gaming. I think they're working on releasing a hotfix or something, because they tweeted out about it about 4 hours ago. And they released an update on their forum about 7. Are you just no-scoping?
Mm-hmm.
Chill with that. They're gonna know we're here.
Oh. We're fine. We're top-tier players, bro. I'm T-Hump, you're Sweet Dreams.
Nah, I want to be Ninja.
I want to be T-Hump.
Alright, you could be T-Hump.
Okay. How do I be T-Hump?
I just gotta talk in ridiculous accents if I want to be Ninja.
I gotta mute. Just wait.
Yeah. What's up, Logan? How you doing, man?
Your stream can't hear any of this.
No, don't move yourself.
Give my friend Brandon a shout out. Tomorrow's his birthday.
Yo, hold on, will do, man. Yo, 1K, I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the dono, my man. How much was that? A $5 donation. Yo, huge shout out to Brandon. You're an absolute legend. Brandon and my friend Greenwater. Thank you very much for the support, guys. I appreciate that. Hold on, I see a structure being built to the 300.
They
They just constructed that little wooden building over there. Did you just actually take a shot at that?
I think I hit him.
You buffoon. You couldn't have.
Yeah, I could have. He's in the zone now.
No, but he's inside. Hold on, I'm gonna push.
No, but he's in the zone now. He's
Okay,
legit
hold on.
in the zone.
I'm in the zone, dude.
He's
Auto
in the
zone?
danger zone.
Are you in the zone?
Oh my.
Auto zone?
Bro, I told you. I hit him. I told you.
Oh, you actually did knock him out.
Yeah. Absolutely obliterated.
Oh, wait.
Your teammate has to be somewhere.
I see him.
Yep.
Got him.
Is that yours? Yeah.
What's up, Wilson? Yeah, that was mine.
Get in the zone.
Auto zone. All right, yo, there's 8 people left.
That's
What's
cool.
that, meeting for sex?
Where's
How
your
to get rid of mouse? What are you talking about? Huh?
you saw that launch pad, right?
No, I do not. That wasn't even mine. That was somebody else who put that down.
For other people and for snips.
Getting those W's, yo. Hold on. Hennis, put down. Oh wait, yo. Oh, never mind. The safe zone's moving. We can't build here. I didn't realize that. Hold on, guys. I know there's a lot of donations coming in right now, and I do appreciate that. Drop right to the 30. I do appreciate that. Oh, you gotta heal. Okay.
I have 1-1 sniper ammo.
Do you really?
Yeah, it looks so clean.
Oh, I should have been picking up a better shotty. Shoot, I've only got a green tactical.
Shaking in my head, bro.
I know, for real. Hopefully that doesn't end up resulting in an L.
I'm shooting a crate.
Oh, no. What are you shooting?
A crate.
Why?
Because.
That's such a stupid idea. Just don't do that. Stop that. We're literally right here.
Oh,
it's literally about to drop. It's going to drop by the time we get over here.
I mean, I was talking about this one right here.
You're going to get us killed, matey.
I mean... I think.
Hold on. There's a... a potion.
Yeah, there's a structure being built, 75. I'll get in the zone, auto zone.
What's up, Josh? How you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the stream, man.
Can I have that med kit that's outside your building, bro?
No, that's fine.
Oh.
That's fine. I tried to drop it to pick up the potion. There's also a golden RPG over here.
I have a rocket, like a blue one.
Okay, I'm just...
Oh, I hit him.
You hit him? Hold on. What direction is he?
East.
I see him. I'm backing up.
Yep. We gotta get to them, sadly. I'll try to get both of those.
Hold on, keep in mind there's 7 people left, so...
Yeah, how many rockets do you have?
I got 17.
Oh, can I have like 5?
I'm not really very versatile with dropping these, so you're gonna have to give me a second. The frick, Hennis?
I'm gonna go get the other one while you're doing that.
5, drop.
Oh. Since you're not gonna get this one.
Where are they?
What color is your RPG that you have?
Gold.
Oh, so we have 2 gold ones. Oh,
that's
no.
that's what I was saying. There was a gold one over there.
Oh, no.
Hold on. I see somebody here to our left. 2 of them.
Where? Oh, down.
Yep, down right below.
Gun on the left one.
Yeah, they shot me. Be careful.
Yep. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna reload.
Okay. Let me reload this. Got him. Got one of them. Nice.
Yep,
Good stuff. Good stuff. We killed them both like at the same time. Holy Jesus. Alright, keep in mind those guys are still gonna be over there.
I don't have meds.
I have 1 med kit. Do you need it? Yeah, you do need it. Oh, this guy had a golden bolt action. Let's freaking go.
They don't even have.
Oh, shoot. We're getting shot at.
Probably from the other guys.
I don't know. Oh, shoot. No, I can't
Yeah,
go. I can't get those bullets. I can't get those bullets. I'll drop you this med kit once we get closer. I don't even know where those shots are coming from.
I don't know. I don't care. You'll get safe zone.
We're in the safe zone now. What do you want to do?
Yep.
I'll drop you the med kit right here.
Yep. Dilly.
Yeah, get underneath here.
There's a drop, like, south. But... Okay.
Yep, go for him.
Let's go. Perfect timing. Ooh.
This is their old structure. I think a drop just landed right behind us.
Yep, I
see
see one. Wait. Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
Ow. They're all on him.
Gonna hit him.
Watch out for
Shoot.
the other guy. I'm healing, so.
Okay.
Let's just go save some. We're on safe.
I'm only at 81 health right now.
Okay. I'm flanking like towards us.
Hold on.
So that.
Oh, are you freaking serious, dude? How is that? I hit him, dude. Hold on. Stop. Stop moving. Shoot.
Bro, I'm nowhere. Oh!
Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nice. Let's go, baby. What's up, Steen? How you doing today? Yo, drop a like for that, guys. That was nasty, bro. You should have seen the stuff in that last guy I got. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, mine like barely. His head was barely showing.
That's first win of the day. What was that? Like third game too? If the first two didn't really count. I mean, obviously they still counted, but yo, that was pretty litty. Make sure you guys drop a like for that. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. Have on those post notifications as well. That was dope. That was dope. Yo, so let me go ahead and get through 1K Green Waters donations here, because this dude went freaking off. How many kills did you have, by the way?
9.
Okay, I had 5. That's litty. What's up, Braddock? Yo, so yo, so 1K Green Water comes in with a 5. Did you ready up?
Yeah.
It says you're not ready.
Well, it says you're not ready.
Uh-oh.
Now will you
Here we go again.
Uh-oh. Come on, man. I want to keep playing duos, bro. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, let me try. I'm going to try kicking you from the party.
Uh-huh.
Or I'll try making you party leader. Okay, now we're both ready, though. Now we're both ready, though. That was weird.
It still says you're not ready, but
okay.
it
says we're loading content.
Oh, yeah, now it does.
Okay, cool. What's up, Hayden? Unready, then ready up? Yeah, that's... I don't know, that was weird. It still says I'm the host, though. I don't really get that. Whatever, though.
Whatever.
So if you are on Xbox, play Fortnite with me. My gamer tag is coolboy244. Greenwater, unfortunately, I don't have an Xbox, man, but I appreciate your 5. Thank you very much. Tech Gaming comes in with a £2 and says, Hennis, the new update has bugs. My friends can't join. Yeah, we are experiencing that same issue too, dude. I don't know what happens, but I guess we're in now. I guess we're all right. Zombie Nation, welcome to the stream as well, brother. What's going on, my fellow menace to society? 1K Greenwater came in. Give my friend Brandon a shout out. I did that. Jump and look around for other people and for the snipes. True. 1K. Thank you very much again for another 5. You're insane, dude. And 1K Greenwater comes in 1 minute ago with a $2 super chat that says, now will you subscribe? Yes, man. I'll go to your channel right now and I will subscribe to you. Failed to party. Connect to party. I'm going to kick you.
Okay.
And it still says you're in my party. I'm just
go
ahead and click leave party from the main menu.
Okay.
Did you leave?
Yep.
It still says you're in with me. Okay, now it doesn't. Now it doesn't.
Okay, I tried to join.
Okay, yeah, try to join me back now.
Maybe it just takes a little bit more time.
Yeah, if the servers are like laggy or something, it may just take some time. But yo, Epic Greenwater, let me get to your channel here, man.
Bro.
Go to community.
That was hot.
That was hot. That was a nice final game. You should have seen. So the first shot, the guy that you sniped and killed, I had a chest shot on him with a gold sniper, gold bolt action, right to his chest through that through the like the telephone, the utility pole structure.
Yeah.
So stupid. I don't know how that didn't kill him. I hit him for like he must have had a shield, obviously, but.
Bro, I headshotted him. He had.
Oh, you did?
Like, yeah, just his hair was showing pretty much.
Alright, yo, Greenwater, I'm going to your channel right now, man. I'm gonna go ahead and click that subscribe button. This channel is about vlogs. Nice. All right, bro. I got you with that sub, man. Thank you again very much for all your donations, dude. You're freaking insane. Oh, what's up, Connor? K3 is almost at 500K. I believe it, man. I believe it. I think we have to restart our games again.
Invite me.
And
then we'll just wait until it shows up.
Okay. Yeah, the party invitation.
Mm-hmm. It's still waiting.
What's up, Xander? And what's up, Jeremy? What's up, Hayden? What's my next stream? What do you mean? I am your father. What's up, Manny? How you doing today, man? What's up, Hennis? Yo, what's up, Connor Ellis? Welcome to the stream, my man. He's 290 off and lowering? Yeah, I believe it, dude. Everyone's like unsubscribing because they want to be that 500,000th subscriber. What am I playing? Custom Zombies again? Hopefully soon, bro. I don't know.
Never.
What's up, Philip? Can you still not? Is it still not there?
It's not showing up. So. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh my
There it is.
God. The
Nice.
timing. Okay. Now we wait. I press join.
This is like really laggy then, or it's not really. It's just wicked delayed. What's up, Grizzly? What's up, Jack Harrison? No, you're good, man. If you're coming in now, you're fine. Fortnite is awesome. Yeah, Fortnite is awesome. We're currently playing on the PC right now, guys.
Oh my, this is.
Do a McDonald's custom zombies stream. Yeah, everybody wants me to do that map, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Fortnite got the McDonald's.
Hennis, don't feel forced to stream or upload things you don't want to do. I know, wait, but at the same time, I still enjoy playing custom zombies. I don't know. It's just I enjoy Fortnite a lot. It's not letting me.
It didn't work. No.
Let me try to join up on you.
Oh, too late.
Oh, you already got off?
Yeah.
All right, if you restart now, I'll restart too.
Okay.
This is so annoying, man. What's up, Hit Skater? The good news is
They just tweeted out about it.
They did?
Yeah, they said, we know you've all been patient with the friends and connection issues we've been experiencing. Just wanted to drop in and say we should have a more in-depth update coming soon. That's really nothing.
What's up, Matthias? I know, dude. This game is really fun on Xbox One. It's really fun everywhere, dude. To be honest.
There are subscriptions, not private, so I can.
I love how people thought this game was
Yo,
good, like
1K green water. Hold on, man. Hold on. Damn, this man's got so many requests for me. Jesus. Least I can do for you, though, man. Least I can do for you. Battle Royale. Okay. Let me go to... No, I go to my YouTube settings, right? Isn't that where I go? I think so. Hold on, I think I'm going to the right spot. Bear with me here, chat.
Bearing.
Can you connect? Are you on?
Yep.
Nice.
Ooh,
let's go.
my.
Let's go. Ready up. Okay, maybe they're working on. Maybe they're getting close to fixing it. Let's go to privacy.
We got lucky.
Keep all subscriptions private. Okay, and save. All right, man. You should be able to see me now.
This is a Chucky Beat production.
All right, here we go. What's up, Braylon? I just subscribed. Yo, thank you, Jamar. Appreciate it. What's good, Jonathan? How you doing, man? What's up, Manny? Where do I go to enter for the giveaway? King, we're not doing a giveaway right now, man. We do giveaways at the end of every month, so we're going to be doing a giveaway here at the end of December. I don't know what type of giveaway it's going to be. We'll see. What's up, Griffin? Oh. Ooh, I think that's the first time I've ever made that jump.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
Yo, from this distance, it's interesting. It just looks like characters are gliding. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah.
Like you look like stiff like a brick, and then you're just. GFuel or maybe merch. I really do want to hopefully do a GFuel giveaway. I got in contact with my guy over at GFuel, and he hasn't responded back to me yet. I sent him a message, I should say. Oh god, my aim with that was just trash. All right, here we go.
What am I doing?
What's up, Peanut Man? What's up, Fluxy? Hennis hates me. No, Peanut Man, I don't hate you, bro. I don't hate you.
Go to Gucci gang.
Want to go to Pleasant or Anarchy X? We'll go for the house.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's get it.
Spent 2 racks of merchant.
Just want to make sure you're actually having fun, though. I know how much YouTube can man, and it makes it unenjoyable. Always the best. Yo, thank you, Wake. Yeah, that's true. That's all true. All very, very true. Hates me? No, not true, Peanut Man. Not true.
Me every day.
I'm gonna try to go to the chimney side of the house, because the chimney side is usually where the drop is.
I think I mean the
chest.
west side.
I think there's another guy landing right here too. Yep, I hear it.
Nope. I got a chest. Oh, wow, that's a bad chest. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. Oh,
got him.
I'll kiss you.
No, 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 I'm getting shot. No, no. Oh, ah. Okay, hold on. I'm really weak. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff.
Get
Give me
out
more
of
people.
here.
I only have 17 health. I only have 17 health.
Oh, I only have 10.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm chugging a high quality GFuel.
Okay, where are you going?
I'm just in the bottom floor.
Go out the backside. You heard that, right?
Yeah. I'm going outside.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you.
No.
Okay, actually, crawl mode this way. Come in here if you can.
How do I see your
You told me
subscriptions?
to crawl
I know.
before.
I thought I couldn't go that close.
I'm so mad at you, bro.
1K Greenwater, thank you very much for the 2, man. I appreciate it.
No, I said I will be down. That's a lie.
I see a person out in the middle of the road.
How much HP do you have?
Knock him down. I only have 17.
I mean, I couldn't
Do you
knock
see-
you
do you see-
down,
do
pick
you
you
see-
up, and then.
Yeah, I
No.
know. Let's not do that though.
Not right now, though.
Yeah. Do you see the guy in the middle of the road crawling?
Yeah, I see him. Really trying to look for his teammate, if I'm gonna be honest. I'd be a little careful. That's okay.
Oh, I see him. Shoot! He's right up here. He's right up here.
Right, drop down, drop down.
Got him. That wasn't the same guy. He got knocked down. He's not dead. I guess he can be coming around from the... Where's that coming from?
On the roof, on the roof.
On the roof still?
Yep. On the roof, is he gonna push me? Jumping. He doesn't have ammo, I don't think. Be careful whenever you
And
jump.
follow me on Instagram when die.
You just went inside the house.
Ready?
He's running upstairs. Where are you?
I'm in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom.
Yep, yep.
Okay, now he's going upstairs in the attic.
He's going upstairs into the attic?
Yes.
Okay. He's breaking something. I can't tell. What really sucks is that I can't even
on
get...
the
Front side?
Roof.
Freaking L, dude. I should just, you know.
Hey, speaking of T-Hump,
I
he
don't even know
went
what to do.
live.
I don't even know what to do. Yo, ProHype fan 1, what's good? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you coming in. What's up,
My
Some
boy.
Spicy?
Love my boy T-Hump.
Awesome video. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate that, buddy. Did you ready up yet?
No, because I'm not out.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh no. Yeah.
Let me know when you do ready up.
Yeah, about that.
What?
I have to restart
Why?
because it like gets stuck on loading. So, like, I can't bring up anything. Now I have to make a new like desktop, quote unquote, and open
Okay,
Task
I have no
Manager
idea.
on-
I have no idea what you mean.
Well,
That's okay.
okay. Basically, I can't open anything, and I have to.
Just do what you gotta do. What's up, Santiago?
Okay. Oh wow, that's a lot of spam.
What's
bro.
up, Hacking?
Oh,
How do
wait,
I
no,
see your subscriptions? You should just be able to go to see who's subscribed to your channel. 1K Greenwater. Just go look at who's subscribed to your channel. I was asking me to follow on Instagram. Yo.
Follow me on Instagram.
1K Greenwater. Come on, man. I don't usually do this, brother, just for donations. I'll stick with just the subscription, man, alright?
What is it, bro? Why does it say I'm already in this party?
Because you are still in that party. It shows you're still here for me.
Yo,
on.
leave the party then.
I'm just gonna kick you.
Yeah, do that.
Actually, yeah, okay. Bill, you're kicked from the party. What's up,
Oh,
Austin? How you doing, man?
Oh man. Not again, not again.
Do you want Snapchat? Yo, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it.
Oh wait, why does it? Okay.
Is you ready up?
Good.
Okay, good.
Yep.
What's up,
He
Harrison?
said solo for a second, so that's why I was like, oh shit.
Oh, okay. Go Henderson Billiard? Yeah, we're gonna try. What's up, Grizzly? Servers are down, dude. Star Wars, they seem to be working fine for me, man. Thankfully enough. Hennis, when you were streaming more Hennis, when are you streaming more Black Ops 3 modded maps? Jesus, dude. The amount of times I get that question, I feel like I should just do it. Like, no hesitation. Can I have a shout out for subbing? Yo, Crossbar, huge shout out to you, man. The inconsistencies in these shots, it always amazes me. What's up, Joey?
But I can't find the subs. I will give you $10.
But I can't find the subs. I will give you $10. It's not even that, bro. It's just the principle of like, I don't know, man. I feel weird doing all this.
Ethics.
Yeah, it's just weird. I just don't usually do this, man. What's up, Jesse?
Let's get ethical.
I'm pretty sure I can give you a link, man, to where you can go. Hold on.
You get that though? You get that?
Triple
Let's get
GSD underscore under.
ethical. Where you want to go?
Pleasant?
Yeah.
Stick it to the left-hand side. Yo, 1K, I'm gonna try to get you the link to where you can actually check who's subscribed to your channel right after this, man, alright? It's a pretty easy link, so I'm pretty sure I can just, message it to you or something.
Well, doesn't
Okay,
it
and you
depend
just-
on
you
if
just give me
someone
your
has
Instagram.
their, what's called, like, private?
Yeah, I public mine. That's what he had to ask me to do.
Oh, okay. They don't want Yeah, I don't. Can you make it?
On the left-hand side?
Yeah. Oh wait,
Yeah.
no, I'm good. I can barely make it.
I'm gonna be on the left-hand side, first house.
Yeah. I'm gonna go second. If there's no one there. Oh wait, never mind. There is. I'm going to your house, but I'm gonna go like in the basement, so you can get this other loot. Do that.
Yeah, crates down there too.
No, there's not. I have no gun.
Then where was I hearing that then?
Up in the attic. Here, I'll get it.
I want to get it.
I don't have a gun. Okay, now I got the weakest weapon in the game, bro. Come on, let me pick it up.
That's so weird for me. It didn't say the chest was open. Oh, this guy's second floor, right on this other house. He's on the second floor. I'm going up on the roof.
Don't at me.
Oh shoot! Yo, I didn't realize you.
Where did he come
I hit him
from?
twice. I hit him twice. I hit him twice.
I don't have.
Oh, I got hit from behind.
Doesn't matter. I had the worst weapon in the game.
The burst AR is way too common in this game. Triggers me. Yeah, it's not too bad though. Did you ready up?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank God. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the burst AR either, man, to be 100% honest with you. Let me go ahead and try to get you that link, brother.
Ooh, I smell waffles. Ooh, I think we're having chicken and waffles, bro.
This song is pumping.
What? Fade away.
Yeah, just go to youtube.com/subscribers. 1K Green Water. Go to youtube.com/subscribers and you'll be able to see who's subscribed to you. I feel like Billiard is upset about something. At proHype not acknowledging his joke. What do you mean? Are you upset about something, Billiard?
Yeah, I said let's get ethical. Ethical. You know, an office reference. You know, Holly and Michael Scott.
I didn't pick. Oh, I guess I didn't pick up on that. I don't remember that episode.
God!
I know, I'm sorry.
Holly? Oh no, Jim and Pam was actually the best relationship ever. Thank you, Wake. God.
Yeah, that's true. Jim and Pam is by far the best relationship. I got you, Billiard. Sing a Christmas song, please. I'll make it. Please, I'll wait. Sing a Christmas song, please. I'll like this stream. Mary
Jingle
had a
bells.
little lamb.
Wait, what?
Rito Row, you wanna go?
Bro, wait.
That's the wrong holiday.
What holiday is Mary had a little lamb?
Easter.
You're funny.
Let's go to the south side houses. I'm gonna go for that big one with the broken roof.
Okay.
You feel?
No, I don't. Actually.
Do you feel me?
No. 'Cause
Do
I can't physically
you
touch,
feel
I can't physically
me?
touch you, bro.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Oh, I'm feeling it out, SpongeBob. Actually, I'm not. Like, I wanted, like, someone just died inside my building. I am shook.
Oh, sick. 2 burst ARs? No, that's exactly what I wanted, game. No big deal. Don't worry about it. Are you good? I'm trying to come to you. Correction, I am coming to you. Ah, he's out front. Coming around back. Good work, Billboard.
I'm healing. I'm healing. I'm really healing, but
What does that sound?
the smoke wasn't mine though.
Huh. See him out front?
Yep.
I freaking hate this burst AR, dude. It's so lame. Like, oh my god, this thing sucks. Oh, you're all... What the frick are you doing? I didn't realize you had pushed out. Were you the one who got that kill on that guy?
No. Some
Okay,
dude's in
I think, yeah, I think he's in Noms or whatever. Oh, right here. Billiard.
Hi.
They're chasing me.
Got them both.
Holy Jesus. Did that like shield that I helped,
Yeah.
that blocked them? Okay, good. That kind of scared me, not gonna lie.
You scare me.
I love how we've seen like so many people and I haven't gotten like a single freaking kill, man. Or like I haven't gotten a kill.
Oh, yeah. Your aim just sucks, I guess.
Nah, dude, I didn't want to take on both of them because I knew I was gonna lose.
I know.
I hear people below me.
Okay.
I think that's you. Never mind, that's you. I heard
Oh,
somebody build.
You're up there. I didn't build.
Maybe that was me then.
You scared
But
yourself.
I built with wood and it didn't sound like wood being built, so I was...
Oh, I just dropped that for some reason. Gotta rearrange my inventory, bro. There we go. That's way better.
Is anybody else here? I think we Gucci, brother.
Actually, we're not Gucci. We're Gucci gang.
You need to stop right now.
Sorry.
Oh, hold on. There's a smoke right here.
Yeah, it's mine.
Did you actually throw smoke over here?
Yeah, I did.
What is wrong with you? What are you
Nothing.
doing? Is there actually something in here? Oh, frick! Holy Jesus! You broke that thing right as I made my jump?
Oh,
Good,
wow.
good thing I have a med kit. Oh, hold on. I see people. See
Huh?
people on this broken house to the 165.
Oh, they're about to get this first AR.
No, I don't want to install a Windows feature update.
Wait, you don't?
No, I don't.
Why?
Because they're always trash. Every time I install an update, it just breaks one thing after another. I don't notice any difference in performance, and it always breaks something.
Not even the Windows Fall Creator update?
Not. Stop. I hate you.
I know you do.
They're both running out back. Both running away from the
I
house.
didn't see you.
I'm gonna try to...
Hit him once.
Behind. Someone's at
Okay.
the retail row.
I'm going to this little building right over here. Oh, they're building a little structure. They're sissies. Okay, yeah, if you can hit them, that'd be...
No! Okay, the one guy is one shot near you.
Knock one of them down. Nice. Got him.
Okay, come get me. There's a guy at retail.
Okay, how far away is he?
He was at, like, where the roof is. So, just hurry up and get me.
Yeah. I'm a-coming.
Or you're not. You're actually looting.
I totally was not looting. Tell him,
You
chat.
were.
Tell him.
I saw you.
Tell him, chat. Nah, I was looting.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not a important entity.
Say that one more time for me?
Entity. Yo, I need that though.
Oh, yo, fact. It's a fact. It's a fact.
It's a fact. Watch out for the other guy.
Yeah. What roof was he on? Do you remember?
Nope. The closest one.
I don't see him.
Dude, Wake gets the joke. Haha, haha, haha.
Was there a joke? Did someone make it funny?
Yeah, I did. It's called it.
Is that not your? You don't want those?
No,
How many nades do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3 nades? Holy God! I don't have any.
Yo, my boy, proHype Jr.
Yo, I know, right? Hold on. I saw that. I was gonna wait for the notification to come up.
That's a banger.
What's up, Adam? That is a banger, dude. Banger.
That's a banger.
Banger.
I am funny, Tom. Shut up.
You're not funny, Billiard? Yeah, Tom. Billiard is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Want to hear a joke?
Tom being funny?
The Secret Service men
Welcome
don't
to the
say,
Salties
get down,
Platoon.
Mr.
How
President.
tough
They
are
say, Donald Duck.
Oh, right here to our right, to our right.
Donald Duck.
Oh, that would have been a nasty shot. To our right, did you see them?
Donald Duck, bro. Donald Duck. Donald Duck.
Okay, can I get the other guy? Just because I want to get him. Because I want to be that guy.
Donald Duck, bro.
Oh, okay.
Donald
Okay, really?
Duck,
You had to do it to him?
Donald
You had to do it
Duck.
to him. I missed my first shot, in all fairness, so I
Donald Duck.
technically deserved that for you to kill him. I don't know, you always make fun of me. Tom, I don't always make fun of you, man.
I got.
I
That's it. Adam gets it. Yeah, let's go, Adam. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. What is even the joke? What is even going on? But yo, hold on. Let me acknowledge proHype Jr. here for a second. My son. Oh, hold on. I see one person here to the. I didn't hit him. Hello. He's went to the 345. He built that. He just built that brick structure over there. Do y'all see it?
No.
Okay, it's right on the other side of this hill. That's probably why you don't see it.
I'm also blind, so.
That's also a fact. He's probably pushing up on the hill. Oh no, frick! I'm getting shot from behind. I'm getting shot from behind. Oh, he's up on the mountain. Peek me one more time.
It's a fact.
Yeah, let's focus on this guy up on the mountain here. We're getting shot at. Are you freaking serious? It's a semi-auto, I think.
Yeah, it's a guy from behind us. He's trying to snipe us. He's trash.
He's up on this mountain right up here.
I need to get this. He can't hit a jumping person, though.
There's a drop literally right over here too.
Are you
gonna build up?
Yep.
Okay, you build up one side. I'm gonna build up the other.
I don't have enough wood. You
don't?
He's shooting from above.
I'm down. You what do you mean you can't help? Are you serious, Billiard? He's going to kill me.
I mean,
Why didn't you?
as I was healing.
I can't even stand to listen to him right now, chat. Just can't even do it. Just had to completely take it off. Just can't do it. I should have built. That's what I should have done. And I'm back. Why did you? Okay, no, I'm not gonna have the conversation with you.
Oh, did you see that? What? Imagine. Am I really?
Your building actually gives me aneurysms.
Man, Bloom's a beautiful thing.
I'm almost tempted just to sit here and wait to watch you finish out this game.
Damn right.
So you ran out of supplies. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, I did. Oops.
Sure.
Are you choking? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you choking?
I kind of want. Are you choking? Are you choking?
Ow! Where did he come from?
There's 2 of them.
Where did they come from?
I don't understand what's going on. Just sit back and relax. Thank you. Jason Kennedy, if you tell me I'm bad one more time, I will literally take your mod status away so quickly and give it to Peanut Man.
Oh. He said it. He said it.
Pathetic.
Clan giveaway winners. Oh man, I didn't.
What am I playing on? The King. I'm playing on PC, man. He's choking over your stupidity. Wow.
Wow.
Melon Wizard 35733 just called you stupid. How's that make you feel?
Damn, that's a.
On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your level of like offense. Like how much offense did you just take there?
A timeout.
Jason Kennedy says I'll fight you, dude. I will literally take my keyboard and swing it at you like it's a freaking battering ram.
You have an extra one though, just in case it
An extra
breaks?
keyboard? No, I don't. Actually, well, I have this extra one that was sent to me. Well, I got it from that Horror PC.
Aren't you supposed to take it to Tom?
Yeah, well, he hasn't sent me the box to send it to him yet.
God.
I know,
Tom.
right? he says, oh snap.
Peanut Man says, wow.
Peanut Man's like, I'm liking where this is headed. Can we keep keep up the triggers?
Keep on going. Keep on going.
Yeah, but proHype Jr., thank you very much for the sponsor, man. I really do appreciate it. I haven't had the chance to properly thank you yet. You are now officially a menace to society, my son. It's honestly, this has been a day I've been waiting for a while when my son becomes a maverick. Ha! Ha!
Wait, is that my brother then?
Billiard is trash? Wow, Killer just called you trash.
I'm sorry,
Is that my brother?
Oh, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Oh, that's cute. Hey, that's a cute timeout too. Lele.
Want to go to Greasy Grove?
I want to go to Moisty Meyer, but yeah.
You don't want to go to Moisty Myers.
I know I don't.
Oh, you already got out? Oh, jeez.
Jason Kennedy said, take my mod status and I'll take you. Oh no.
In before Jason Kennedy's like 6'3" and weighs 280 pounds. Come right in, freaking deck me. I'm over here like 5'8", 140. Please, sir, don't hurt me. Billiard sounds hot. He is. Joe's most, bro.
Hot, so.
Aiden thinks you're hot.
Manny, actually, I'm not a daddy.
170? Yeah, you weigh 30. You weigh more than I do. Hold on, let's go to. Do you see this house that I'm going to in the bottom right? I have 5 HP. I have 5 HP. You can't make this up.
Bro, I saw that out of the corner of my eye. That's great. Oh man, who said that I'm trash again? Don't come upstairs. Don't come upstairs tomorrow, Hannah.
I actually have no freaking supplies, man.
Hey, come here. Where are you?
Oh, I found it.
I have something for you.
I just got myself some bandages, so.
No, don't use them.
Okay, you have a med kit for me?
Yes.
Oh my god, daddy.
Damn right I'm daddy.
Okay, so
Wait,
we're good.
what? Hang on.
How many coins do I have? Eduardo, type exclamation point coins in the chat, bro. That was... Chat, we're never gonna talk about that again, okay?
I'm talking about it. Hey, you guys, you see him fall off a tree? Yo.
Okay, where are you, by the way? Oh, okay, you're just kind of...
Doing my own thing.
Making the stroll, yeah. Understandable.
Making my way downtown.
Please
walking.
stop. Are you done?
Oh, sorry, copyright. Oops.
Yeah, right. It's, yeah. That's what I'm worried about. I'm up on top of the gas station roof.
I will not make up my mind. Wake. God. Where did I go? How did I get here?
What happened?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Tomorrow.
I think there's more people around here, just so you know.
Tomorrow. Yo, my first grade teacher would like say that to me.
Your first grade teacher?
Shut up. God.
God. I have braces.
Yo,
I have braces. You can't make fun of me.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
I think that's the first time I've ever made that jump in my life. Was there seriously nobody else here?
Nope. It's like I have 10 kills, so have fun.
I got another potion. Wow. I'm almost tempted to share it with you.
How are you? I mean, I gave you a med kit, so.
That's also a fact. Where are you?
I'm down in the basement. Come here.
What's up, Ace? How you doing today, man?
Come into my basement.
I'm coming into your basement. Can you not throw smokes, please? I thought... I literally can't even see you. Oh my god. So I want you to know on every level humanly possible, I hate you. On every level possible. You're... Nah, dude, it's cool.
No, okay, seriously, about the braces thing, did you have an expander in your mouth whenever you got braces on?
I had a paddle expander before I had braces. That's like the thing that goes in the roof of your mouth, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those on.
What's the music? It's the Fortnite dancing music, man.
It's just absolute sucks.
Just absolutely sucks?
Absolutely.
As opposed to, like, figuratively sucking?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
Is there seriously nobody else around here?
Anyone here?
You can't talk in-game.
Anyone here?
You freaking idiot. Hello?
You call me an idiot, bro? I'm gonna report you to the authorities.
Oh, yeah, there is somebody. Barbecue.
What? What's up?
He's out in the middle of the road.
Oh, I knocked down one with my trap. Okay, I got them both.
Wait, you just... Oh, wait, he got knocked out by your trap?
Uh-huh.
Ha!
That was the easiest kill of my life. One G in the chat. One G in the chat, please.
How triggered are they right now?
I don't know. Oh no, we have a guest appearance. I'm muting.
Where was the trap? Was it in the first house?
Yeah, first off.
That's not the front door, chat. Yo, what's up, Isolated? Welcome to the stream, man. He probably put it upstairs, right? I think that's where he put it. It's gonna take me a little bit to find.
Man, good thing I muted. Riker came up with food in his mouth. Right. No.
Where this isn't the house.
It was the first house we went to, bro.
This wasn't the first house we went to?
No. You're dumb. You're really dumb.
Bro, I come out the front door and I just see a bush waddling in the middle of the street. Oh, who could that be?
Oh no.
Why do you honestly, why do you put the bush on? I don't get it, man. What's up, Manny? What's up, Ricardo? This guy had sniper ammo, and this guy had a sniper, and I want it. I know he did because the other guy I killed had sniper. Oh, Jesus, freaking Christ, man! I thought that was gonna kill me. Did he not have a sniper? Billiard definitely took the sniper. Watch, I'm gonna go to him right now, and he's gonna have a sniper.
There was not a sniper. There was a blue burst AR. Would you like it?
No, I have a regular green.
Bro.
Yeah.
Riker came up with a waffle in his mouth.
Wait, Billiard's real name is Boston Cute? No, that was just his first gamer tag name, and then he changed it to Billiard. So I usually call him Boston Cute just because it's a habit. That's what I've been calling him for years. But his YouTube channel / he goes by Billiard now. By the way, guys, Billiard's actually pretty good at FPS games in general. I call whatever's in there if it's a weapon. I call the Scar. I call the Scar. I call the Scar. Okay, Scar is mine.
Okay, well, this is mine anyway, so.
Was it a sniper?
No. It was an RPG.
Was it He's a bush? Yeah. You need to stop dancing. Like, I'm just gonna let you know that right now. Okay. I'm gonna shoot that bush off of you. You're gonna lose your privileges to be a bush.
Honestly. Did you drink that slurp juice yet?
Actually, no. Actually, I can't hit you. Hold on. I gotta hit you with a low caliber weapon. Do you actually want me to take it off you?
No, don't. Okay. Unless we have a slurp juice. So I get full. What to call
Oh, well, I drank the slurp juice.
Well, yeah. Good job, bud.
It tasted good.
That it? What did it taste like?
All right, Wake just told you to stop dancing. He said, "F sake, Billiard, stop dancing."
You can't pick.
Oh, right here to our right.
I can't.
Knocked one down. The other one's still inside the house.
I'm gonna try to go.
Kobe. Kobe.
Oh, I see him. He's running off in the distance.
He's running off into the distance?
Yeah. I hit a headshot on him. Okay, dead.
Nice.
He's absolute trash.
Absolutely garbage. Ooh,
absolutely obliterated.
Wait, what direction did he run off into?
330.
Oh yeah, wow, he literally just left his teammate for dead. He's like, frick this man, I'm out. He's like, dude, you're just gonna have to take the L on this one. Do they have anything good? I'm gonna take those bandages.
W. How's those bandages?
What's up, young Scooby? It was only one.
Oh. Yeah, because I
dropped it. They have a green pump?
I don't know. I have a green pump.
I go by Wake, short, quick, and easy, unlike me in all aspects. What?
Whoa.
What? So you're not quick and easy? A strong wind doesn't get you going? Wow, Jason Kennedy called you bush-eared. Calls you bush-eared. By the way, guys, if you guys don't know, I'm actually gonna shoot that off you. I will.
Okay.
If you dance one more time, I will shoot that off you.
Look how wiggly.
I'm making a promise to myself, you, and the chat. The chat will hold me to it. If you dance one more time, I will shoot this off you.
What if I want it off?
Then you will dance.
Thank you.
Probably shouldn't have shot so high up.
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
Now, the unfortunate part is shooting him doesn't make him stop dancing. It just takes the bush off of him. I think that takes away some of the fun.
I did it for the vine.
I did it for
Vine's
the
dead.
views.
Vine's dead.
Hennis, you're awesome, bro. Love your videos. Thank you, Killer. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Billiard's channel yet, I haven't given him like a proper shout out yet. The link to his channel is right in the description down below. If you guys don't see it, you may just have to refresh your page, but it is down there. Once he hits 100 subscribers, he will be able to get his own custom URL, which I know he's very excited about.
Then it'll be easier to find, boys.
Person right over here to the, okay,
Yep.
yeah, you see him. Kill me!
If you hear me shooting a rocket, yeah, you don't want to see it. Dead grass, bro. I hate the birthday arm. I hate the birthday arm.
Oh my god! Daddy! Why are you so far away? Please kill him. If you die to this, I will scream. Like, I will be very upset. Please don't let him kill me either. Just please don't let him kill me. Just keep, honestly, just keep penetrating him. No, he's gonna nade me! He's gonna nade me!
That was your fault.
Why did you... It's because it was the bush. It's because it was the bush. It had to be a bush. You had to be the bush.
Hey.
Keep dancing around.
Hey. Don't worry, I just got a 360 on him, bro. Don't worry.
Dude, I'm so annoying.
Want me to play this out or leave?
No, I
There's
want you to leave. Just leave.
There's
14 people left.
Yeah. I'll get this dub. So how are you?
Shut up. I'm pissed. Rage quit? Is it called a rage quit if I die?
Did you see my 360 though?
No, I didn't, because I got up and walked away.
Why? Well, you should have seen it. I danced after. Wow, that's a lot of loot.
Don't play this funny, play for the win.
Okay.
BCC trolling, come on. I know, right? Rage death? Yeah, I guess you call it a rage death. Like, literally, he had me down, and then... I don't know. I don't know if I would have done anything differently, to be
I
honest.
feel like someone's here. That's weird.
Billiard for the win. Aiden's rooting for you here, so...
I am a spooky ghost.
What are you doing?
I am building a base. That's what I'm doing. Oh, I need. Eat.
Remember, his teammate's gonna be probably to your right somewhere. Oh, they're both there. You're gonna die. Don't peek out for that long. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Just gonna let him do it.
Yeah, you're dead.
Good stuff. What's up, Grizzly? How you doing today, man?
That's a little sketchy.
All that loot, dude. Jesus. All right. Type 1 in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, if you think Billiard's going to clutch up and win it. Type 2 if you think he's going to fail. What are we thinking? Sweensta, thank you very much for coming in with the raid, brother. I do appreciate it.
I need a 2 in the chat.
Hennis almost at 225k. I know, for real. If you guys have... Oh, okay. Watch out. Get covered, get covered, get covered. Oh.
He's a bush!
Damn.
Yeah, thanks for the 2, guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I
for the
agree.
2s, yeah. You guys...
I agree. I agree.
What's up, Manny? How you doing today, man? Whoa. My game is fully glitched out.
Is it? We'll see it.
For match type, it says option.
Does it?
But yo, Sweensta, thank you very much for the raid, dude. I appreciate it. Oh, now, wait. Okay, now it says duos, but you're not in my party. Are you... Does it still show me in your party?
Yeah.
Alright, leave and then try to join on me.
Aye.
It said option. I've never seen that before in my life. Billiard, does Hennis hinder your abilities to win? No. If anything, he enhances them.
Yeah, it does.
That's why I play with him.
Okay, I left. Oh, wait, why didn't I... Now I can't even join you. It doesn't have the option.
Well, I'll send you an invite.
We'll see how long.
Fortnite is broken, my friends. My friends were gone this morning. What do you mean they were gone this morning? Billiard, I subbed to you. Yo, Jason Gherkin subscribed to you.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
There's a link to Billiard's channel in the description, guys. Right below the donation link. Definitely go over there and subscribe to his channel. I would really appreciate it.
It's not
so
popping up.
It's not?
Oh.
We're going to have to restart again?
Oh, wait, there it is. Wait. Like, at least the join party option.
The invitation didn't come through, though?
Nah, not yet.
Favorite YouTuber never missed a video? Yo, Jamar Jackson, I appreciate that too, man. I'm pretty sure I acknowledged that. I don't know if I did, but Jamar, thank you very much for that support. I really, really do appreciate it. You're a legend. Thank you, my guy. And then ProHype Jr. comes in with a $2 super chat and says, I found you, Dad. Yo, what is good, my brother? I found you too. So happy we could find each other through your sponsorship. I appreciate that. 13 subscribers away from hitting 225k. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Smack the pretty red sub button in the face.
Oh, Snow hasn't accepted my friend request.
You had to end the game and restart it, Mickey Mods? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking we might have to do too.
Yeah, just do it.
Oh, wait. Did you already end?
No. I just got... Okay,
I just got your invitation. Oh, I just tried to join you.
Oh my god, what's gonna happen? Now, who accepted it first? That's the real question.
Right, exactly. I shouldn't have tried to join on you.
Well, I shouldn't have tried to join you.
It says the party currently not trying to request to join.
My god.
Alright, let's just restart.
Yeah.
Hennis, how's it going, brother? Yo, Vitalian's doing pretty great, man. It's going pretty good. Welcome to the stream.
Bro, there's like...
What's up, McFrost? How you doing today, my man?
Yo, I have a great Battle Royale game we should play. It's called...
if you say PUBG or H1, I'm gonna freaking
called
scream.
Minecraft Survival Game. Yo, think about that, though. That was the original Battle Royale. Actually, Arma was, really, but... Think about that, though.
What's up, Ace Pendleton? How you doing today, man? Yo, Ferrari Master, welcome to the stream. I think someone is breaking into my house. 2 minutes. Yo, wait, good luck. Bring a knife. Hey, if you gotta defend yourself, you gotta defend yourself.
I mean, yeah, I can...
It's either you getting stabbed, or you stabbing the other guy.
Make sure it's not your family.
Hone zone for life. Hone zone for life. Yeah, just make sure you don't stab your family members. Wake him home with pizza! Starts freaking stabbing his mom to death. Get out of my house!
That'll be some like Barry Allen stuff. Bro, I love the flash. Oh. Hi, Giannis. Who would pay $25 for a Minecraft server though? Like, really? Think about that though. Who would? Could never.
I'm gonna send you an invite, okay?
Okay.
You try to join up on me.
I'm already trying to join right now, but will it still happen?
What's up, Radio Dog? How you doing, man?
Oh, okay. Invitation is here. Oh, I didn't even have to accept it. It might just put me in, maybe?
I think if you try to go through the invite, that's where it works.
Oh, I'm in.
Not on my screen.
Well, give it a minute.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right,
Okay,
ready up?
it still says solo for me, just so. Okay, there it is. I'm ready up. There.
Doesn't say you're ready up for me.
It says you ready.
Okay,
up
there we
for
go.
me?
Okay.
You're really out here.
This is a really painful, really glitchy experience.
And at least you got a dub already.
And before their matchmaking becomes like CODs, or it's just trash. Yo, Cold Duo Gaming, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you coming through. What's up, Thomas? How you doing today, Henneby? Waiting for server. As long as we get to the loading screen, we're fine.
Yeah, I wish COD would just bring back like the invite system and everything of MW3.
Right, the MW3 invite system never failed.
Like I even had a strict nat type at one time, and guess what? It worked.
I'm debating whether or not I should earn another 100k and in GTA. Go for it, man. Yo, little bit of an Easter egg for all you Fortnite players out there. You can break this poll.
Oh,
well. Wow. Henis, my love. What's up, Winter? New profile picture. What's up? Welcome to the stream.
New phone, who dis?
What is Gucci?
Well, I think I'm gonna get food after this. So
there were just no hit markers on. Did my face cam just go all blurry? It might be. It might be. We are 9 subscribers away, guys, from 225k. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're new. I would really appreciate it.
You can't hit me, ha ha ha.
I'm not even shooting at you.
Oh, you can't hit me, ha ha ha.
What's up, Bronze? How you doing, man? What's up, Heatherwood? How's my day been? Yo, Cold, it's going pretty good. Is the pic uglier than the other one? Lol. It's hard to tell because it's small in the chat here. Let me try to click on it and see on your stream. See, this is a trick question. Is this pic uglier? Is this pic uglier than the other one?
Whoa, you almost fell into that one.
How do I respond, chat? What do I say?
You know the dynamo trap that you almost fell into it.
Is this pic uglier than the other one?
Woo. That's like putting a net over like a big hole over. You almost fell in.
Can you give me a shout out? Yo, Ace, what's good? How's Hose College? Yo, man, it's going pretty great, man. Tomato time?
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
It's either pretty or not. Thinking emoji. Oh.
There's more leaves on the pile.
I'll leave the. Wilson says awkward. I don't know how to respond. I see. This is the thing. I can't properly respond to that question.
Yo, what's a kappa emoji for YouTube? Neat.
Kappa.
It's so bad. Like I'd rather have regular kappa.
Playing some Roblox with my baby brother. That's lit, dude. I'm gonna go to the gas station. Actually, no. I'm gonna go to the top of this little.
Tomato. I want to spin
top of this little shack or whatever, right here, because I got an AR. Hold on. I'm gonna go get this guy over here. Right after I drink my potion.
Okay, I got a Magnum. This ain't gonna work well.
All right, there's a guy in the little convenience store to your north. I don't even want to talk about it, chat. I don't even want to talk about it. Whoa! Huh? Hold on, I'm gonna try to pickaxe him.
Nice one tap.
False alarm, I'm safe. Must have been paranoia.
Ah, on me.
I only have 13 bullets.
Kill me. Yep.
I only have 1 bullet left.
Man,
yo, what's up, Aquatic? Hey,
no. What? Okay, wow. I'll play one more.
Let's do one more. We'll do one more. Sorry, I just really like doing duos. After this, I'll do solos. We gotta get another win. We have to.
It's a W, not
a W. Give my YouTube channel a shout out, please. My name is Exalt Clutch. Exalt Clutch, shout out to you, man. What's up, Henneby? Hennenby. Every day it's lit, man. What's up, Radio Dog? What's up, Joshua? All
Every...
right, one more game. After this, I'll do some solos because I got to get some more solo wins under my belt. I really want to hit level 50. That's what I really want to do. I'm live playing Fortnite 50v50, also doing a giveaway. Chill. What's up, Derek? Hey, today, Mickey Mods. I missed the World War II. I missed World War II and BO3 on my channel, Random Kid. I know, dude. I don't know. So World War II dropped, and I just wasn't really a big fan of the game, to be honest with you. Party failed to connect.
Well, I'm right here, so.
Are you still ready to?
Yeah.
What does it say for you?
This is waiting for server.
Okay, good. Hennis, what headset do you use? I use HyperX Cloud 2s, man.
I want to get them.
Why do the graphics look so bad? Hicktown hunting. It's because I have my graphics turned down because I'm streaming and playing off of the same PC. So so I have to turn down the graphics in game so that I don't like drop a massive amount of frames. I need a thumbnail, bro, and listen for free now since my chargebacks are over. Yo, Aquatic, I appreciate that, man. I'll be sure to hit you up if I need any more. For right now, I think for a little bit, I'm kind of good. I think for a little bit, I'm all right. What's my email? propenis@gmail.com.
Oh, that's a good one.
Thanks.
So all I'm seeing right now on my feed are W's. No, 55 W's actually.
All right, we're gonna go to a high action place. We're gonna make it happen. You wanna go to Anarchy X? Go for the house.
Yep.
Let's get it, man.
Yep.
Let's just get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
I wanna die.
No, we're gonna be good.
Oh no, I pressed. Okay, Russell Westbrook on a farm. No thanks.
You're going to the house, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I tried downloading Fortnite on my computer and I had a problem. Do you have a solution? You can always try re-downloading it, man. Use the link in my description.
I'm not a father, Manny.
I'm totally not partnered.
What's wrong with me? What's this? Like, I literally.
Oh,
I just got a purple scar. Well,
no, are you freaking serious?
W. All I'm seeing is W's right now. Okay, wow, get out of my way. Thank you.
Oh, come on. You're actually blocking me. Do you understand?
Yeah, destroy the toilet.
Do you understand?
Destroy the toilet.
That took so long to destroy. Oh my god. I hit it and it's... That's so stupid. Shotgun ammo. No shotgun. And Billiard's already off. Already off on his own little adventure.
Wait, I gotta get a 20 kill game solo.
Two people over in the big barn. There's a fight going on over there too.
Fight. MUfights.com. Wait.
There we go.
Oh, that's pretty cool AR you have there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, I'm good. They're in the big barn. Hold on. Yo, wait up.
What?
Hold on, Theo. There's somebody over here to your right. Going in the smaller barn. I don't know if you saw them, but...
Nope.
I'm going up top, though.
Oh, he just went outside. Oh. I'm backing up.
Are you gonna die?
No. Maybe. Hit him again. That was a headshot. He's at bottom floor.
Got him.
Oh.
There's another guy we gotta worry about. Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know where, though. Give me a minute. I'm getting this chest.
Where's the guy ran over here.
That's just an L, bro.
Where'd this guy go?
And
he's all the way out here. Yo,
I'm
he kept
back.
running. He kept running. Yo, 1K green water. Thank you very much for the $2. I appreciate it, man. Let's run this way. Do you see them? He's running back here.
Them?
Yeah. Those two. You want to go for him?
Wait, not yet. Now.
Knock one down.
I headshot the last guy.
Good stuff.
I'm so mad.
Yo, good job, Billiard. Good job, man.
I'm sorry, you have how many kills?
3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Golf rules, bro. Golf rules.
Golf rules. I love it. Alright. Get a blue revolver, damn.
That's a cool magnum, bro. W. I didn't mean to dance, I'm sorry.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm really sure about that one.
What's up, David? Alright, we gotta actually run more this way. Actually, yeah, we're gonna go out to Loot Lake, if you wanna.
I wanna loot.
Don't say it.
I wanna loot. That's all I want to do. I want to loot. Do you think I was gonna say something else?
It's nighttime in Fortnite, bro. I'm not a huge fan of nighttime in Fortnite, to be honest with you.
This house is looted.
Both of them are? Yeah, the garage is open.
And the roof is taken off, so yeah.
Do you want to go out into the great abyss that is the water?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I see 2 people. Do you see them?
No. Yeah. Yo, you think I can nade right in front of them? Like, don't shoot yet.
They see me. I think it's too late.
I want to try and nade right in front of them, bro.
I'm gonna go for him.
Why is he shooting me? Got him.
You got the
In
guy
the
over
house. Yep.
there? He's come back for his teammate, bro. Bro, I swear
I told you.
to freaking God.
Bro, these building skills, bro.
I don't even want to talk about it.
How many kills do you have?
3.
Yeah, I'm just right. Roll rolls again, bro. What is this? Oh, that's a shield potion. Neat. Bro, did they even have anything else?
I don't think so.
That's a med kit right here. I mean, I'll pick it up for now, but...
Yeah, pick it up for right now.
A blue assault rifle.
Oh, I'm gonna want that.
Yeah.
This has already been looted over here, too.
I'm finding everything. It's like a treasure hunt, bro.
Oh, hold on. There's a drop on the other side of the lake. We should go for that.
That's, I mean...
We should?
Obviously, yeah, but...
I'm just saying.
I can't get to you. Ah, man, that's the second time
I look over at the chat,
and you see
and
someone
I see winter low key wanna bang ? Online #YouTube or yeah #YouTube babies. Wake
You having fun there? Here. No, but I saw someone self-promoting for the like 3rd time on your channel.
What'd you just do? Did you drop the blue AR?
Yeah.
I love you.
I dropped the ban hammer, bro. The ban hammer.
Drop the ban hammer?
Yeah, the sledgehammer. Haha, get it? Cause it's wings, like a sledgehammer.
You saw where that drop was, right?
No.
It's already landed.
No.
I don't know why that always surprises me how many freaking hits that tree takes.
No, what's surprising me?
#exposed #drama alert.
I love how people come into your channel and try to self-promote. It makes me cry, bro. It makes me cry.
Makes me shed a tear.
No, of laughter, bro. Of laughter. Here, by the way, take this.
I can't. I'm heading over to the drop.
Oh my.
I'm a full sender, dude. Can't stop me.
You're gonna flip and send it?
We're gonna flip and send it, dude.
I'm not a daddy Manny, okay? You're a Manny.
The hell is a daddy, Manny?
I don't know.
You near me right now?
No.
Oh, there you are. You're up there. You're fine.
Damn, I love people like a Michael Scott. Hey.
Don't let ProHype stop her connection.
Can I stop it? I'm looking out for everyone's best interest.
You have to worry about people behind us too.
I bet you there... I don't know. I was gonna say there aren't, but... What's that blue thing in there?
Oh, grenade launcher.
Oh. I mean... Oh. Speaking of behind us.
Oh, God. I got hit once. Pushing up to the
Pushing
second tree. I think he's a bush.
Is he?
I think he's that bush.
Oh no, he's not. He's at the tree.
Oh,
Hit him once.
I gotta heal up.
It just scares him, don't worry.
Oh, they got shot from behind too. Hold on 1 second, I can't push up with you. I'm healing up.
Trying to push to the right.
Alright, I've got a grenade launcher too.
Oh,
I'm gonna nade up there.
got him.
There's more people too.
Yep. I'm still gonna flip and send it. Oh no, he stole my kill.
To your right, to your right, to your right, to your right.
I love how that's doing 30 damage.
Probably gonna be more people around here soon.
Yep. There's a med kit right here. Take it. Yours. I already have two.
Hold on one second.
Man, iPod's doing work out here, bro.
I got a lot of good loot. I already have a med kit. I picked one up. There's another one you said?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right over here. Go ahead and rearrange
Okay, we need to go
everything.
save some. We have a minute 10. Oh, there's people down here. A tree just broke.
Yeah, hold on. Wait for me. I've only got... Yo, how much air bullets do you have?
I have 200.
Okay, can you drop me like... Oh, okay, I see.
One. Yeah. I'm gonna shoot the guy in behind because he just...
About a tree?
Yep.
Knock him down.
That nade should
Is he
kill him.
lower by the tree?
Yeah, lower.
I see him. He's running up.
Got him. All dead.
Lady!
That was a little much ammo needed.
Lady! Let's win another
Hey,
game here.
Yeah, 225k by the way.
Oh, I did? Yeah, 225k. Yo, thank you very much, guys, for 225,000 subscribers. You guys are freaking
You're
insane, man.
welcome.
Honestly, I really, really do appreciate that. If you get a
You're welcome.
225k spam in the chat, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Billiard.
Yeah, I got you. 55.
Yo, okay, how much AR do you have now?
Like 200 so.
Oh, okay, I got 119, so I think I'm alright.
Okay, yeah.
Alright. Let's head more to the safe zone. I got 999 wood, too. That's nice.
999.
9?
Okay. I got an RPG, so.
Who said that?
Who said that?
Who said
I really
that?
want.
Was that
want
you,
him to
Project
go.
Nemesis? Yo, can we get a 225k spam in the chat, guys? I would appreciate it. Thank you. That's freaking crazy, dudes. That's nice. There's a big ramp. Yeah, I think that belonged to the guys we just killed. How many kills do you have?
5,
4, 3, 2.
2, 1. We're
Can we low-key
going
raid
on a
K3,
trip
please? I want to
in
see him
our-
hit 500k. Yeah, we'll definitely raid him, bro. Oh, hold on. Building right up here to the south. Do you want to shoot? No, actually, don't shoot. Don't shoot. Actually, yeah, shoot. Oh! Did you see him move at the last second there? Did you see him,
I hit him
chat?
once.
Try to get it at a different angle.
I hit him twice.
He just dropped.
He-
Should go for a shot, honestly.
Yeah, watch us.
Are you gonna full send it, dude?
I'm gonna flip and send it, bro. Actually, wait. That's what I'm gonna flip and send, bro.
Oh, really? That can't reach?
Watch out behind us, just in case.
He's shooting at somebody else.
Ah.
He's so weak, dude.
Is it?
No, I'm in my room real quick.
Yeah, he's so weak.
Oh,
Got him. There's more people down here, I think.
Your room? Yeah. Give me a
there's
minute.
people at the house. At the house.
What? Okay, yeah, I see him.
Wait.
He's on I think they're on the platform. I can't really tell, though.
I just took the slurp juice, by the way.
Okay, that's fine.
Down. South 165.
I'm not trying to get sniped. I think they're still over by the house.
Got one.
Oh, dude, I just... Okay,
Got
back
him.
up, back up,
Got
back
him,
up.
got him,
Nice,
got
nice,
him.
nice, nice, nice. Yeah, come back over here.
Let's go. Over that bomb.
Actually, I'm gonna put... Yeah. What's up, Ace Poseidon? How you doing today, man? Yo, Night Boss, thank you very much for the 10 bits, bro. I appreciate that, man. I
I'm making
appreciate
the
that a
door
lot.
to get out. As soon as
I'm just gonna build up. I'm just gonna build.
No.
Just do this. Okay, get over here. I just...
You really. It was that bad.
Yeah, I am actually that bad.
You canceled my health.
I'm sorry.
Oh, just.
I can't... Yeah, do you want to just make a door? Because I'm clearly inadequate at whatever
give
I'm
me
doing
2
here.
seconds.
Can you do it now, please? Or so? Why would you open it? Yeah, open it back here, so we can get their loot.
Oh my.
Just so we don't have to like immediately face them in
You
case
would
they're looking right at
move?
us.
See, it won't let me do the other one, so.
Okay, that's fine. On the roof.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not gonna understand how that didn't hit, chat.
There's people right, like 220.
Knocked him down.
I don't know,
Knocked
there's
him
people
down.
right in front of me. Right in
Yep.
front of me.
Running into the house. Ah, shoot, that was bad timing. Did you get all their loot?
Nope.
Oh, shoot, yeah, we gotta move.
Got one. Okay, eliminated.
Hold on.
one.
There's a guy pushing up. There could be a guy at the farm, I think. He's gonna be trying to get his teammate, I believe. So it could
Where
be... I don't know, he's somewhere in there. Yeah, just, hold on. Just honestly fire something in there, but you gotta run. I'm building up right here. Please let me jump up this. Thank you. Oh god. Yeah, they're gonna be behind us. I think we can outrun this though. I think we're outrunning it.
Oh yeah, we are.
Just a wee bit faster.
I've had a launch pad all day. Like an actual, you know.
Yeah, no, like a jump pad.
Mm-hmm. Kind of makes me depressed.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to watch out because they're gonna be coming up from behind us.
Not if they die.
Well, they're gonna be able to run faster than it. Not by much, but they're gonna be
No.
hurt. That's for sure. We'll build up a little base around here by these a little bit after these trees. So I definitely want to get those guys because I think they had some nice stuff. Oh, hold on. There's people right down below here. Do you see them building up right in front of us?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're going down to those. Guy going down to the. Nice, and there's a guy by the tree.
Yep.
This guy's up top here too. Hold on, don't move, don't move. Oh shoot, dude, frick. Knocked him down. Oh shoot.
Another hit on him.
Knocked him.
Okay. Good.
Let's go.
Where's this other guy die at?
He died up top. All his stuff's
No, like,
kind of...
no. The other guy that killed. Like, the first guy.
I have no idea.
Because he had a slurp juice and I really could use that. Oh wait, never mind. I see where. I'm gonna drop the first aid kit in here.
Oh god, am I stuck? No, okay, we're good. I'm going up here. This might not be the best option, but just see what else this guy had.
Okay.
Oh, this guy had a jump pad. Or a launch pad, I mean.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Please, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. I'm putting on a bandage and then a slurp juice. It should be at full health with 25 shield. And then my kit. I also have...
Hey, hold on. I'm just gonna drop all this other crap.
Okay, there is a blue shotgun. So they did have a launch pad?
Yeah, I have it.
Bless up. Thanks for all the
Alright, 4 people left. Yeah, it's probably a 2v2.
Bro, I have 999 metal.
I have 999 wood, 793 brick, and 227 metal.
You have to go up, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Just a little bit. You want to build up?
No, I'm just walk up.
If you guys are new to the stream, definitely make sure you subscribe and drop a like as well. Hopefully we'll get our second duo win of the game right here.
2 people left, by the way.
Stream. Yeah, it's 2v2, I think.
I can smell that
Hopefully,
chicken.
hopefully they're not up here. Watch out behind you. They could be at the top of this hill. Let's just go right to the top of this hill, and then we'll kind of worry about down there.
Yep, right here.
Right, yeah, left side.
No. He's shooting
How is
me.
he not dead? Shoot.
They're both weak. One has a scoped AR. He's trying to... You have nades?
No, I don't.
Push him. Other guy's weak. He's right there. You should let him crawl.
No, it's fine.
And then just push while he was healing. Good job. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Yo, drop a like for that, guys. That was a pretty sweet win. How many kills you have? Awesome Q?
Yeah.
How many kills you have?
Oh, sorry. 9.
Same. Yo, 18 kill win. Not too bad. What's up, the Jet? How you doing today, buddy?
Time for some chicken and waffles.
Let's get it. You're gonna head out?
Yeah.
All All right, I'm gonna go do some solos then.
Okay,
Yo,
have fun. Bye, bye, babe.
yeah, I'm gonna stay on, guys. We're gonna continue to do some solos. We're not gonna end the stream just yet. Billiard's getting off though, so he's gonna go he's hungry. He's gonna go do his own thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and play some solos, which will actually be kind of nice because then we can kind of avoid all the issues that we've been having when trying to play duos. So hopefully we won't run into any of those right now. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the party right here. By the way, guys, I want to go ahead and let you know right now, Billiard, he's an absolute legend. You can see him typing in the chat right there. He's a mod and a sponsor. I do have his YouTube channel also linked in the description down below. Please make sure you guys go over there, show him some love, drop a sub on his channel. I would really, really appreciate it. It would help him out a lot. It would really mean a lot to me. I'm gonna take a quick piss and I'll be right back. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Piss. Alright, we're good. I feel like a new rejuvenated man now. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. How do I check my coins? Yo, Donald, type exclamation point coins in the chat, brother. Yo, thank you very much, guys, again, for 225k. That's crazy. I really do appreciate that, guys. That's a super cool milestone to hit. Super, super dope. I gotta remember this is all solos now, which might make my life a little bit easier. We'll see. What's up, Sohal? How you doing today, Max Lee? Yo, Grape Ape. Hold on, Grape Ape. Wait, Grape Ape. Wait a minute, Grape Ape. Grape Ape. Were you in the Fortnite Invitational yesterday? What's up, Shadow? Or was there a guy named Grape Juice? Might have been the guy named Grape Juice. Grape Ape. It was Grape something. I'm like 99% sure of that. You ended up winning a game. Or somebody did. Somebody with the name of Grape. I don't think it was you. What's up, P-Dog? How you doing today, buddy? What? I didn't think he was going to do that. What's up, Shadow? What's up, Revenge? Tyler Mayer isn't even saying anything. Or Grape Ape isn't even saying anything. He's got, wow. Grape Ape's got a lot of time watched. Holy Jesus. That was not a great start to that game. Do I play with my subscribers? Not really, man, no. To be honest with you. I really want to get level 50 so bad. I haven't had a solo win in so long. I only got 7 duo wins? Jesus, dude. I'm out here slacking, my guy. Get wrecked, yeah. What just happened, Hennis? Yeah, so I thought I could put on my potion. I thought that guy was going to a different location. I was going to drink my potion, and I realized I couldn't, so I had to swap, and then it just happened. Bad stuff happened. So, we'll try again. Give it another whirl. No, don't sub. He bad at Fortnite, but we love him for his charm, so sub for charm, not gameplay. Listen, Wake, I'm a freaking tier 1 Fortnite player, dude. Like, literally, name anybody in this game that does it better than me. Besides Billiard. Solid aim right there, dude. Oh, I freaking love this game, man. I really, really do. You the best in the game. Yo, thank you, Hicktown Hunting. That's what I like to hear, bro. Can you turn on Flipcoin, please? What does that do, bro? So I see all these like gambling options for the bot that I use, but I don't know. Like, what does that actually allow you guys to do? I don't really know. That's the only reason I don't really turn it on is because I don't know how it works. And I kind of, I just want to know how it works if I were to like, so if I were to like implement it, I could actually be like, you know, so people, when people ask questions about it, other people who, you know, like me, who have no idea what the hell it is, like can at least get somewhat of an understanding, you know. What's up, Robson? Yo, Robson, I'm liking your profile picture, brother. Shop.proHype.com. Go cop the merch. It's Liddy. Hottest merch in the game. Even hotter than Logan Paul's. Believe it or not. You gonna go to that house, bro? Alright, alright, alright. Alright, you know, actually I'm gonna go to this one then. Really? Nothing here? Okay, I hear one on this. I hear it up there. I just want to get a weapon here first. Oh, maybe it's down. Actually, yeah, it's down here. Give me something good. Hell yeah, I will definitely take that. Alright, let me reorganize here. Actually, I'll do that. Oh, there's another one out there. Oh, baby. Okay. Okay. Do we see anybody, chat? Whoa! Oh god! No! No! Are you freaking serious? Okay, that guy was really bad. Don't ask me what happened right there, chat. We probably should have had that snipe on him, but what's up, the Jet? How you doing today, bud? That's pretty bad, not gonna lie. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Probably that guy's first game. Dodging those bullets like a god, dude. I have no idea how I survived that. Not even that, like how he didn't even hit me. Is he up top? Is he shooting at me? I don't see any movement. Move more to my left here. This guy's definitely still here, I just don't know where. Okay, you can't build there. Didn't want to anyways. It's all Gucci. Frick me, dude. Ah. Where's this guy? Come on. That's terrible, Hennis. I didn't want to see how much health he had left. Those shots were so bad, dude. I sit there and I think too much about the shots, and that's what screws me up. It's almost when they're faster and I have to react quicker that they're better. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I think some of you guys kind of know what I'm saying. Like, is when you sit there and try to work out the timing so much, you just screw yourself up. What's up, Ariel? How you doing today? Welcome to the stream. Can I get a shout out? Yo, Tornate, shout out to you, man. Even though you were pissing on me earlier today. I know, we missed so many easy shots that we should have had. Which is so weird, too, because we lasered that other guy. You guys noticed there was no bloom on the other guy that we killed on the roof. That's just how it works, man. What's up, Rosie? What's up, Susan? Welcome to the stream. God dang it, man. I'm bored, Hennis. Yo, Jason. Like, I understand you're a mod and stuff, bro, but, like, if you're bored, bro, no one's forcing you to watch. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel that way. I'm just saying that, like, if you feel that way, like, why are you watching? Like, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just, why are you watching if you're bored? You know what I'm saying? I know I should probably try to make it. I was just caught up in a lot of, trying to make, you know. I was just caught up there in the gunfights, which is why I wasn't really talking. Like, look at that, dude. That's just unbelievable. I know you really aren't supposed to, like, shoot and move, but, like, sheesh. My goodness. I don't mean by watching you stream. I mean there's nothing to do physically. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry. I thought you were coming at me. My bad. I misinterpreted what you were trying to say. My bad. Yo, G-Killa. G-Killa. Dad, Winter doesn't love me? Why doesn't she love you, man? You're so lovable, Wake. You're so lovable, man.
Love your videos. First time donating.
I hate going to Tomato Town. I absolutely hate it. I don't know why I'm doing this. But G-Killa, thank you very much for the $1. It says, love your videos, first time donating. Yo. Thank you very much for coming by. I really do appreciate it. And thank you very much for your donation as well. I think I've seen you in the chat before. But what's good, brother? What's good, man? Alright, Tomato Town. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go to these two houses right over here. Because there's not nearly enough good loot at Tomato Town, and I usually can't find it either. These houses will hopefully have better stuff. Did I seriously? I got a chance to... Yeah. Oh, I did pick it up. Thank God. Let's get it. Hell yeah, baby. This is what we like to see. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Do that. We're just going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of you. Pick up that. There's another potion there, too. Do you guys hear that other chest, though? Okay, yeah, I think we're good. Keep this other potion. There's just gotta be one in the house here. 3 chests, man? Right up here. It's gonna be up top, I think. Oh, no, it's right up here. Beautiful. Alright, we're kind of loaded up right now. So, let's actually make a move to Tomato Town. What's up, FaZe Swan? How you doing today? Yo, Griffin. You freaking beast. What's up, Tommy?
I've been live for 12 hours and still going. Just
Damn.
wanna say thanks for the lit stream which kept me awake. Hashtag grind never stops.
Yo, absolutely, brother. The hashtag grind never stops, man. Bye-bye. Where's that from? Those other nades? Got him. What's up, Granny? I just donated. It didn't pop up. Yeah, it did pop up, Griffin. What are you talking about, man? It popped up, brother. I'm gonna go check out this house over here. Nice shot. Thank you, brother. Thank you, my man. I've been like freaking loving this game, dude. Honestly, like literally, absolutely freaking loving it. Can we make this jump? Arrgh! Dude, how many potions are we gonna freaking find? This is freaking insane. Another one upstairs? Dude, we're actually kind of loaded right now. Say it with me, chat. Say it with me. We're loaded. What's good, Mickey Mods? How you doing today? Welcome to the stream. Okay. I'm gonna think this through. Actually, I can just break right out of here. Hell yeah. All right, now let's go underneath to the tunnel. Get whatever secret chest might be in there. There might be 2 more chests in there, even, which would be freaking insane. We have 2 potions, so literally we can get back up to 100 shield when we need to. What's up, P-Dog? And then, oh, has this already been broken? No, it hasn't. Has this side been broken? Oh, it has. Which means somebody's been through here. Oh, that was probably the guy that I killed. In all honesty. Probs. You have a decent amount of supplies right now, too. I was wondering where I heard those shots from. I was like, huh? Did anybody else hear footsteps? Oh, we get a scar, too. That's freaking legendary, bro. Let's go, man. Having a scar this early in the game. The guy over here. Make sure I don't take damage from that. Oh, this guy's only got 30 bullets in this, though. Only 30 bullets in this, too? Huh? What? What's up, Phase 1? Yo, hold on. Shots going on over here. Shots? Come on. Get me up, get me up, get me up, get me up, get me up. Let me see. Nice. Too easy, brothers. Too easy. I don't know why the other guy peeked out so easily. Like, he knew the other guy died. I don't know, man. Never understand. Okay. Oh, sheesh. Where are you? Oh, okay. Oh, I see you. Hiya! Come at me, brother. I'm just gonna rush this guy, honestly. Huh. We're gonna run out of ammo more than likely. He's gonna try to take the upper ground. That's what I would do if I were him. Your donation did pop up, Griffin. He said, I've been putting in a 12-hour live stream. It's still going. Just wanted to say thank you for the lit stream, which kept me awake and hyped. Yo, Griffin, I appreciate the support, brother. You're an absolute legend. Thank you for the love, my guy. Definitely means a lot. Can we get a Griffin spam in the chat? That shot, though? Yeah, that was nice. Not gonna lie. That was pretty nice. If we get the shot chat, I will mod somebody random in the stream. What? Give me a quick second here, chat. That was a nice snipe. That was really nice. That was such a nice snipe, bro. Like, holy Jesus. That was so nice, dude. Did somebody clip that, by the way? If not, can somebody clip that? Whether if you're watching on Twitch. Somebody please clip that. Like, that was so freaking dirty, dude. Where was he even? Oh, he's all the way out here. All these medkits, I gotta heal myself up. Get myself some more potion, too. I literally have to take a second to slow down the momentum right now. Because it is almost too high octane. Purple sniper, I'll take it. Drink this. And before 20 kills solo win, we have 10 kills already. Okay, get to the safe zone. Is that a chest up there? Purple bolt action, which we already have. Because we're so freaking loaded. I'm gonna try to concentrate right here, guys. Give me a second. That's bad. Shut up, car. Car, shut up.
Guess who's back, my dude?
Who's back? I'm drinking this. I'm drinking this. We have 3 medkits. I'm not wasting anything right now by doing this. I legit don't know what else to pick up, though. Oh, shoot, dude. Are you freaking serious? Frick, dude, no. Oh my god. Does he have anything else I want? I kind of would want that grenade launcher, but I don't have time to pick it up. Actually, yes I do. Oh, RIP 20 kill win. Okay, Chad, I'm kind of nervous. Correction, very nervous. Okay, there's one. He's getting shot at. There's a fight. They're fighting. I can't tell if I'm in the safe zone. I might just barely not be. Should have moved forward like another half an inch or something. If I have to move right now, I'm just gonna go to that guy's base and build up on it. Okay. I'm serious. Nope. Frickin' hell, dude. Scared the living crap out of me, dude, and I just lost all my shield. Ah. Nope, I'm gonna die. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. That's the end of it. Oh, no, dude. Ah, shoot. The biggest L that we took. The biggest L that we took was when we sat there and we had to drink the shield potion again. Because I thought I had it, and I guess I must have just moved a little bit while I was wiggling left to right. And when I moved a little bit too bit, it didn't go off. And that's why I had to sit there and apply it again. And I don't know how I didn't kill that guy. 14 kills though. And then this guy's gonna die. Shoot, man, and now it's a 1v1. Let's see what happens with this guy. This blob guy. We'll wait out the game honorarily. We'll see what happens. He has 3 health. This guy's absolutely screwed. Are you reading your chat? Yeah, Rich, no, I am reading my chat now, man. But yo, 1K Green Water, thank you very much for coming back with the $2. Appreciate it. You still have to mod someone? Yeah, because I did get a dirty snipe too, didn't I? That was a pretty nasty snipe. Yeah, he's dead. Why is he smoking him? I honestly have no idea where this other guy is. Yeah, he's screwed. Oompa Loompa won the game. How many kills? I wonder how many kills that guy had. I missed a legendary sniper. I had a purple sniper, man. I had one. Was there a gold one? Didn't even know. What's up, Blue to Win? How you doing today? What chat are you reading? Silk or Sith? I'm trying to read both, man. I've been reading a lot more of the YouTube one, though. Not gonna lie. All right, let's go ahead. We're gonna play like 1 or 2 more games. Let me see it. What's the uptime on the stream right now? Yo, Billiard. Was Billiard just watching the stream? 2 hours and 40 minutes. All right, we're going to go a little bit longer, guys, and then we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Shoot, that would have been so awesome if that was a win. That was 14 kills, bro. My highest is a 14 kill win. We were 14 with top 4. Damn. Yeah, there was a gold one? Nah, I didn't even realize it. Feels sad, bro. Feels sad. I got to mod somebody. Who am I going to mod, guys? Who am I going to mod? Who do you guys think deserves a mod in the YouTube stream? Who do you guys think deserves a mod in the YouTube stream? I sent you a clip. Yo, thank you, Jet. I appreciate it. Everybody's going to say they deserve mod. Of course everybody is. You said you a clip of the snipe kills? Yo, thank you, bro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mod someone you actually trust if you're serious? Yeah, I will, I will. I'm looking at the chat, guys, waiting to see somebody who I trust. I see Beast John in the chat, lol. There was a guy that went over here. One sniper bullet? It's more like it. What's up, your boy? What's up, Zaniac? There was a guy that went over to that house over there. I don't know. Everybody that was here might be dead. Oh, shoot. T1 plays, not gonna lie. Could have actually just saved the med kit now that I realize it. Actually, yeah, no, I don't need to. This guy over there. Only 15 bullets left in this thing. What's up, Torno Nate? How you doing today, brother? What's up, Baller? You doing today, Stosh? Where's this guy over here? This guy stopped to shoot at someone. IDK who, though? What's up, Panda King? What's up, Pro Manny? I'm still looking in the chat, guys. I'm only looking over every now and then, though, because I am trying to focus on the game here, too, as well, obviously. Potion. Let's figure out where these other guys are. There were shots down here. What's up, Mickey Mouse? Yo, Mickey Mouse JK. Frosty McFrost. Do I stream on this? Wait. It's just down there. Where? Came from back here, right? Didn't it? Did it or did it not? Where did that sniper shot come from? Did it come from? I could have sworn it came from behind me. There's smokes out here now, so he's over here. This guy over there on the house. I don't know where this guy would have gone. Ooh. Took a lot of shots there, not gonna lie. Sorry guys, focusing up here. Give me a second. Hennis, stop being such an idiot. I want that blue AR too. 28 bullets? It's okay. We're doing alright. Jump pad, baby! Let's freaking go! Okay. How did he not have any AR ammo? Let's go all the way up here. What's good, Zaniac? I just subscribed to you. Thank you, Snake. I appreciate that, brother. Done it. Ooh. Could have sworn I just saw a guy up on the that platform over there. I'm surprised we don't have more building materials. Slash disappointed we don't have more building materials. Are you freaking serious? Okay. We're getting somewhere, chat. We're getting somewhere. Holy Jesus, dudes. Alright, oh, we didn't have a wall built right there. Probably the most important wall we could have.
ADDME on PCFORTNITE, Rampsey.
What did you just say? Huh? Jesus. Oh, I can't pick that up. Could have sworn I kept seeing somebody over there. I think we're good, though. I didn't kill anybody over there. I think that's everybody. I think I got everybody's loot. Okay. If you guys are new to the stream, definitely make sure you drop a like, please. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on post notifications so you guys never miss a future stream or video. I would greatly appreciate it. Helps me out a ton. Once you've tapped the bell icon below the video player next to my channel name to to turn on post notifications, make sure you screenshot them and tweet it at me over on Twitter at proHype, because I do follow every single hashtag notification squad member back on Twitter. Alright, where's this guy's base? Remember there was some dude's base? Is it on the other side of the tree? I think it is. I'm gonna keep building up because I got an idea. Or no, it was in the storm. Okay, never mind. Huh. Come on, Hess. Shoot, dude. Freaking A, man. No. Please, I hope nobody's there. Frick me, dude. Peek me, peek me, peek me, peek me, peek me. I'm gonna die. I'm in such a bad spot. I'm sure there's nobody else around me. One v one. No, what? 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 Did he one-shot me in the head? Oh. He must have one-shotted me. Wow. You got lucky. You got lucky. That's tough. RIP. I was full health, wasn't I? Was I not full health? I don't know. He probably had a gold scar too, though. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do one more game, guys. Go ahead and do one more game. Level 49 though, not too bad. What's up, Unlawful? Cry every time. Hannah, sorry I was late. I was out with mates. Hey, Jamie, no worries, brother. No worries. If you guys are new to the stream, please make sure you do drop a like, though. Like I said, subscribe. Also, if you're new, turn on post notifications. I would really appreciate it. Full health, no shield. Yeah, I guess. So I guess he one-shotted me with a rifle. Wow. Hannah's wait to mod Peanut Man. He deserves it the most. Is he Peanut Man not here right now? What about the mod? I know. I know. I don't know. Here's the thing. Like, Peanut Man, obviously, he showed me a ton of support, but I'm just going to be real with you. Like, I don't know. And obviously, I have no way of knowing if this is, like, heckling or not, but, like, and I'm not just singling out Peanut Man here either. But, like, oh, no, Peanut Man is here. It's just, like, I don't know, dude. There's a couple of you guys who are mods who just, I don't know. You're always just so negative, and like that's obviously not something that I want. And like I said, that's why I pretense that with, I don't know if it's like, if you're just heckling me, if you're just messing around. I like, you can't tell, obviously, just over chat. So I don't know. Someone said no chance, Peanut Man. My favorite YouTuber, thank you, Matthew. Like, obviously it shouldn't matter, right? But like, I don't know. What's up, Wilson? What's good, brother? Try to get one of these farhouses over here. I think he deserves it. No, I think he definitely, like, out of everybody in the chat, he's definitely spent the most time on my stream. Just stating what I've observed, you know? I don't know. And so, like, you guys are probably all pissed at me now just for saying that, but I don't know. What's Zesty, my bestie? What's up, Joe's Most Bro on the YouTube channel? Guy on the first floor. I don't think he had anything that I want. So freaking annoying, dude. That day. That changes the whole dynamic a little bit. Oh, shoot. I know there's another guy in here. That was close. No. Did he just get really lucky or what? I don't know. What's up, Neymar? How you doing today, man? I'm gonna go ahead and restart. We're gonna do another game. Was that hacks? That kind of looked weird. It kind of looked a little weird. Do I listen to Spose? Yeah, I know who Spose is. He's from Maine. I'm from Maine. But yeah, Cole Pletcher. Welcome to the stream. I mean, I haven't listened to his stuff in a long time, but I know of him and I have heard some of his songs. I'm Awesome, when that kind of took its whole wave. God, that was like 6 years ago now? 7 years ago? Hopefully knows that I'm really positive and stuff. I just mess around with him. Love you, Hennis. Yeah, no, I know, Wig. I know. What's up, Jason? That did kind of look weird, didn't it? I don't know. Maybe I should have reported him. Who knows? Yo, Ivan, yes, I have noticed you. What's up, Heatherwood? Hennis, I'm not negative. I just have a dry sense of humor and I'm really sarcastic. Yeah, right, obviously. That's just, and that's what I'm saying. It just comes across a little differently through text. What's my Discord group? Type !Discord in the chat, bro, if you want a link to my Discord. It's also, you can type !Discord in the chat. I think I literally just said that. Or just discord.proHype.com. We'll also give it to you. Do I like you? Yeah, Face Monkey, I like you, man. I like you, bro. Ooh, that aim. What's up, Fireballs? What's up, Wyatt Fields? We've had a couple games today, guys, that literally should have been wins. Was that's a 1v3 choke or 1v4 choke and a 1v1 choke? Feel sad. What's up, Bradley? Wow, didn't make that jump. Yo, what's up, Sun? Sun Kakarot. How you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the stream, my man. What's up, Logan? Wait, that can't be the son that I know, because the other one's a sponsor. And I know because you just responsored earlier today. What's up, Brent Harris? But yo, Cole, I appreciate your $2. Cole, are you from Maine too? Is that how you know? You hit 70 hours? Mickey, you're crazy. You're freaking insane. I'll go to Pleasant again, I guess. Just because I really don't have a better option, and I like going to high kill areas. Kind of feels bad because I call them trash respectable. It's just like, obviously I think you're just messing with me, but at the same time, it's like if everything out of the mods, if everything the mod types is negative, like you gotta have some sort of a balance. That's what I'm saying. And maybe there is a balance, I just don't notice it. I don't know. Try to go to the far house again, or maybe one of these houses on the left-hand side. Okay, music's muted. It's 4 AM in Ireland, Grind Squad. Hell yeah, Frosty, Grind Squad, dude. Oh, sheesh. I hate when that happens. Johannes, remember me? Bradley, yes, I do remember you, man. That's what literally got us killed the other game. Everything that could have made that 1v4. Should I get an AR or something? Then we can rush out. I don't really want that, but I'll take it. I don't hear no footsteps, no. With me leaning, dude. Where'd this guy just go? Where did that guy went? What's up, Bradley? Really? Okay. Keep that there. Then we get a sniper. That's where that'll go. I don't know where the shotgunner went, man. Maybe he pushed straight out? I have no idea. If he did, poor strat. But it worked because he got away from me. Last few shots that I have heard were over here. I see him. He's in for supplies, isn't he? Woo! I don't even need to heal myself. I don't even know what I'm doing. Do I even want this, to be honest? A burst AR? 1 shot, 1 kill. Love you, Henry. If you need any motivation, I love you, my guy. Yo, Wake, I freaking love you too, man. Anybody else? Ooh. Thought I saw somebody over there. Na 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 na. Oh, okay. Thank goodness I didn't take any damage. We're already in the safe zone. I really do hate, not gonna lie, really hate that we have this, only a burst assault rifle. You know what else really sucks, though? Yo, what's good on Madritum? Lucky one shot. Was that you who was just in here? Was that you who I killed? Or are you just telling me lucky one shot? I already went all the way down here. We did kind of this whole loop around thing. I guess I should just push more this way. We can go all the way to, kind of Loot Lake. Push that way. That's my plan. Lol. Only 2 kills here. Not liking it, man. Maybe the last couple guys push this way. Who knows? We should have had 2 solo wins, dude. I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess, yeah, it makes sense, though, when you get to the last 2 people, or last 5 people, last 10 people. They're bound to be at least semi-decent, unless they were all complete campers. Chest up here? No. Debated. I can ride your girl with no handlebars. Don't be mad at me. That song's a little catchy, okay? Oh, you can't get up there. That's lame. Did I just hear somebody over here? Hello? Wow, this looks safe. You know what? Yeah, forget, dude. Ooh-wee. What'd you have for an AR? You had a burst AR too? Oh my god, twinsies! No way. Wish we had made that shot. Or made that jump, I mean. That'd have been so cool, dude. Could you imagine if we just kind of landed on the roof all nonchalant, just peeked in there, quick scoped him with a sniper? That'd have been so sick! Huh! It's a burst AR too. I don't need it. More like I don't want it. Okay. Oh wait, we are building with brick. Dun it. Dun it. Dun it. Only 3 kills, 20 people left? Sheesh, the last couple games we've had like so many more than that. It's crazy how that works. We could use some more wood. 'Tis for sure. I'm feeling it this game. Low kill win to finish off the stream. I'm liking the likelihood. I like that we have shield still. It's nice to have shield this late in the game because usually this late you don't have shield. And usually this late you don't find people with spare shields to pick up when you kill them. Because they've usually applied them all. So. Looks like we're heading in the right direction. Okay. Ooh. Okay. That. We have a better AR. Still no better ARs, dude? Am I gonna get this entire game using a burst AR? Be so lame. I would literally hate that. I'm telling you right now, I'm already hating it. Oh, Jesus! What's good, brother? How we doing? Okay. Let's try this again. No. No! No! I am so done, man. How much did he have? He probably had full health still. 60 health, dude. It is what it is, boys. It is what it is. Shoot! Frick. Alright, one more. I'm sorry. Just obsessed with this game. And I have to keep playing. I feel like I'm playing well right now. Like, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Like, I feel like I'm actually playing pretty decent. One more game. Okay? And you guys are going to hold me to that. If I mean, if I try to play another game, I want you guys just to all stop watching. Okay? I want you guys to all leave the stream. Pro not aim, though? I thought the aim was pretty decent. I mean, granted, we were trying to hip fire with a burst AR at close range. That really wasn't necessarily the best option. Level 49, though. Quickly on the road to getting that level 50. That's what I want. Hennis equals addicted. Yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I'm actually really addicted to this game, which is why I like playing this game so much more than COD right now. This game's just so much fun. I want to try creating some cool, like, content for this game, too. And I need to play more duos and squads, because if I just play solos, I sit here and I, like, I'm too quiet, and it's just not interesting, you know? I mean, you guys still like to watch. I think just because I'm doing, like, semi-decent right now. I think that's really the only thing. If I make sort of like a side jump? Yeah, Bear, I'll check Discord here in a sec. How did I not jump there? Done it. Ah, nope, can't make that jump. All right. What's up? Alright, so, yeah. Alright, I'll do that at the end of this game, Bear. I'll do that at the end of this game. Is there something wrong? Yeah, so my mods are just telling me about some stuff that's happening in my stream that I need to fix. So, frick. frick? Okay, we're going here. I didn't mean to land that low. There's a chest there. There's money here too, nice. Yes, yes, yes. I hate when I do that, bro. That's like the second time I've done that playing this game. Do 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 do. Oh, Hennis, don't destroy the chest. What the frick are you doing, mate? Okay, that's not a good spot. Never mind. That actually kind of worked out. Okay, cool. What's up, RSTO? How you doing today, man? Henry, what? What do you mean, Wake? What's up, bro? What's up? I didn't realize there was one in here. Okay, well, I'm glad I checked, though. Jesus. Gotta move this way. I love you, Henry. If you need motivation, I'm your guy. I don't know if you read this. I'm in overdrive right now. All right, man. Sounds good. What's wrong with the stream? Yeah. It's just got to happen because this has been an issue for a while. So I'm unmodding somebody after this game, and you probably know who you are. Just throwing that out there. This person has been timing lots of people out for apparently no reason. So, my main mods are kind of pissed about it, and I don't blame them. And when I say my main mods, I mean people who I've worked with for a while and known for a while, and I trust them. And they keep telling me this stuff, and I just kind of blow it off, to be honest. And they, you know, so the stink has been heard. Well on mod. Check Twitter soon, Hennis. All right, man, I got you. So yeah, just thank you to Bear for not giving up on me entirely, even though I'm sure he hates my guts right now. Ha! Kind of wish we had landed here first, because now we have 0 kills. No sniper either. Let's make it happen. You doing really good? I know, son, right? We're doing awesome. There's no way he saw me, right? Give me that blue AR. Medi? Wait, did he have a sniper? Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Yeah, so I've been given a lot of evidence. So that's the end of the stream. I've been given a lot of evidence for this person timing people out just randomly. And I've been given, you know, screenshots and stuff. We can see who's timing out all these people. And it just needs to stop. So let me just return to the lobby here. This person, you're gonna know who you are because you'll try to chat. We're just not gonna make a big deal out of it. I'm just gonna unmod you. If you want to talk to me, you can DM me, and that'll be that. All right, I'm not gonna go ahead and do a raid, guys, because I gotta get off because I'm like starving right now. So I'm gonna go get some food. I appreciate all of you guys coming out, though. You guys were absolute legends. If you guys haven't dropped a like in the stream yet, please make sure you do that. I would really, really appreciate it. Obviously, subscribe if you're new. Have on post notifications. And without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Until next time, everybody, keep gaming. As always, stay cool. Adios.